Orange team.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
I'm Dan.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Mike is excited because today we're starting off our top 50 board games of all
Top
time.
50 games of all time.
So these are our most favorite games, and today, in this episode specifically, we are going to go from 50 to 41. But first, Bob, what should happen?
Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, share this with all your friends. Comment down below with some of your favorite games. Why Mike's wrong about his, 41 through 50.
Well, it's Mike and not me.
Well,
Woo!
we're saving you for
We
later.
know you're wrong.
Yeah.
We want
We had a whole
to know.
there's a whole video
We
about
want
it.
to know why he's.
That's assumed, right? Okay.
Because we need 6 more subs as of this filming to get to 2,000 subs. We're so excited. I'm pumped to be here today. It's funny, taking just 1 week off of filming. I'm like driving here. I'm like, yes, I get to do the top 50. All right, woohoo. I've been working on this list for like a month. That's all.
well, we didn't.
Yeah, you actually quit your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
didn't
were
have
having the
the
opposite feeling driving. We're like, oh, Mike's going to be there again today.
Yeah.
we didn't have the heart to tell him he wasn't supposed to be here. So
Yeah,
he
he just showed up.
Just,
showed
yeah.
up. He's like, "Hey guys, I got this list." It's like,
Tim
oh, I
kicked
guess-
me while I was sleeping outside the front door.
What? Wingspan.
What?
That's what he said when I kicked him.
Oh.
But anyways, so guys, before we get into it,
Yep.
how did we determine our lists? Like, what did you use? What influenced your decision? So on and so forth.
So, like, when I make these lists, because, like, I mean, obviously, like, a lot of times it's like, well, I'd love to play this game. I've got enough time, so it doesn't really get brought up for consideration. I try to say if I had the player count I want and all the time I needed to play it,
Yes.
what game would I rather play?
Yes.
And so that way, to give each game its, best shot at making the list.
Yeah, I would say I did the same thing because there are some games where it's like, well, I never really get to play this because of the time constraints, right? But all things considered, if it's X or Y, perfect scenario, perfect conditions for
Yep.
those, and I did that using I did Pub Meeple
Same.
actually like 4 times.
I didn't do that much.
Printed out 3 of them and then basically wrote out my list. Still made some tweaks even after that because it's like, oh no, this game shouldn't be here. This game shouldn't be here. This game needs to be here. So that was kind of how I did my list. But yes, same frame of mind.
Right.
This game or this game again. Like,
Perfect scenario.
Oh, Bob's not going to play this? Yes.
I will totally play Foundations of Rome.
It moved it up from like 407 to
Hey, for the record,
307.
there was a 5-player game of that last night. 2 people were new, and they both beat me.
Whoa.
Yes.
Was that the game you were falling asleep during?
No, that was a different game. That was funny, though.
Dan, how about you, man?
Very similar kind of thing. I used Pub Meeple because it's just an amazing resource. Thank
great.
you, creators of Pub Meeple.
Yes.
Excellent.
It is an amazing backbone, and then you go in. I only did it once because doing it more than once is insanity.
Psychopaths.
It is.
I had to do like 180 games, and that took like forever.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine doing more than 180 games 3 times.
Imagine the terror of doing the list and going, why isn't this game anywhere
I
like in my top 50?
Yeah.
And then it's like, it didn't get synced over.
Yeah.
So what you do is you just go in and you put it where you want it and move everything else down.
well, that was
You
the
don't just
fourth
do
time.
the whole list again.
That was the fourth time.
Right, but so I started with that, and then once I had that, I actually transferred it from the Pub Meeple thing to a Samsung Notes in my phone, and then I reorganized things. I numbered everything. I do have a quick caveat for my thing because I don't know what happened. I had a top 50. And then I remembered a game that wasn't my top 50 because I had never rated it. We never reviewed it, so I had never rated it on BGG. And so I rated it really quick on BGG and then came back over, threw it in the list. And then I kind of started, I put it in, you moved everything down and started renumbering everything. And I was expecting a game to drop off at the end because now there should be 51 games and there was still only 50 games. And so I'm like, either I was missing a game in the first place somehow, or eventually I'm going to be missing a game and I'm just going to have to put 2 games at a number because I guess it's supposed
No,
to
it's
be
both
there.
of these because that was supposed to be there.
I don't know what happened, so there's like a slight caveat there. But yeah, just a lot of, I don't know. The process for me is literally just what game do I think is better? And that's going to change,
Sure.
from week to week. But I just, it's not necessarily how often will I play the game. For a very long time, Twilight Imperium has been in my top 10, and I play that game maybe once a year.
Sure.
So that doesn't matter to me too much because I think it's a near perfect game.
Yeah, that's never that
So-
doesn't stop a bunch of my games
Right,
from being on the list for the exact same reason. This is a game I would rather play or want to play.
Right, even if I don't have the opportunity, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
But that's it for me. Pretty simple.
Yeah, Pub Meeple, and then I exported it to an Excel and then just kind of gradually tweaked their exact spots to my liking.
So you're saying that the ranking engine was flawed and that you had to redo it. Right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Well, also,
Mike, not a fan of Pub Meeple.
I also did that a month ago, and in a month a lot changes. Ooh, I played this and I remembered how much I really like it. And
Well, I had a game that was in like my top 15, and as I was manually changing it, I was just like, and
it kept sliding
yeah,
down.
and it kept sliding down, and it got close to like 30 or something, So like for some reason that one just kept slipping through the cracks on Pub Meeple due to the comparisons it was giving, and then when I actually look at it as a whole, I'm like, I like it a lot, but I don't know about like there, right? So that happens.
Yeah, when I went through and wrote out my list, I was kind of finding a similar thing where it's like, well, no, this actually needs to be a little higher. Like this needs to be there. And then it's funny because I actually moved a game because the game that was my number 51, I wanted in my list.
Oh yeah.
So I just straight up removed a game that I thought this will be in the top 50 next year, but it's not there yet for me. So I just took that clean out and then just basically shifted everything up one so that my number 51 now is still a game
50.
I really wish was in the top 50, but I don't have anything I can pull out for it. Wow. So anyways, all right then. Do we
Without
want to?
further ado.
wanna
I'll
get
also point
started?
out that I'm going to be on my phone a lot because that's where my list is.
Oh, Daniel, how rude.
I know.
Wow.
Hey, how rude.
We're
You
filming
have
a show.
Paper out.
I have paper. I have a phone. I've got a book. All
I
right.
got a phone call. Hold on.
speaking of games disappearing off a list, like I gave my 31 through 40 exact numbers, and the game just disappeared. So
Nice. Oh.
before our next video, I'll have to do some researching.
And
Where'd it
really
go?
quick, I rewatched our top 30.
Oh, I
year
meant
ago,
to do that.
And
Oh, wow.
I put what number they were in my top 30. It is drastically different.
I wish I would've done
It's
that.
crazy.
It's just-
Should we
as a
cut
matter of
and then do that real quick?
As a matter of fact, you shouldn't watch the other video because evidently it was wrong in every way possible because there's only like 15 of my games that were in my top 30
Wow.
in my top 50
Well, that was like
now.
what in
It was
2019,
We
right?
did that at
Almost
least 2
2
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
Almost 2 years ago we did that. And also, but I will say, like, my top 10 has changed a little bit. My top 30 has changed drastically.
Right. I've played a
Drastically.
lot of new games.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's even some games from this year that are in my top 50.
Yeah.
So-
Absolutely.
For sure.
So, all right, Bobby. Well, without further ado, as you were saying,
Yes.
why don't you start us off with your number 50?
Number 50.
Oh, wait, why don't you just do like 37? I'm just
Number
messing.
37. Okay. So my number 50. Dan didn't like this game, so he had a bad taste in his mouth for it, but hopefully he'll get to play it again soon. Blood Rage.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great CMON game. Eric Lang. Area Control and Vikings, and I backed this one when it came out on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And my copy, I think, has been played more by other people than I have gotten to play it.
Nice.
But I don't mind. You did, and I didn't. But I don't mind, right? I got the insert for it, and it's really
Right.
cool. And like, I'd like to be able to play it some more. I've played the online version quite a bit. But yeah, just card drafting in there, area control, like I was saying, different monsters you can recruit to try to take
It's
things
it's
out.
a great game, and one of the interesting things about Blood Rage, because I was thinking about this, not because of anything on my list,
Right.
but like it is in my brain, it is one of the first games to work the way that it does. You know, one of the first games at least I played with the drafting,
the
the
rage.
territory control, the way that you, not just the way that you spend the power, but you've got like the 3 different tracks. You know, that
Right,
you're
like
moving,
which
that
one
give
you're
you-
rating up. Yeah,
yeah,
leveling
you know,
up.
and so there's more to it than just like
area
slamming your
control.
guys into other
Right.
guys, right? And then when you decide to pillage and
Right.
so like
Using Fenrir and trying to like change where Ragnarok's gonna happen.
right,
and
yeah.
Get your guys to
So
do it. Yeah,
so
there's
really does a lot of unique and interesting
Two
things.
specific things I love about that game that I have to add, and one is the card draft, like the reverse psychology of figuring out, okay, I know he's got that card. Is he going to play it in this battle or not?
Yeah, I keep
love
giving
that.
Dan cards that could help him, so I need to stop because I want him to still
Or-
hate this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, or give me a good experience.
The other one that I really enjoy is the simple fact, and I can't think of another game that did this before Blood Rage, is you're getting into battles with the intent of losing them.
Sometimes.
Because that is an absolutely valid strategy to
yeah,
winning
Loki
that
strategy.
game.
Mike, it's called Champions of Midgard.
Yep, look into it.
You go into that to lose.
Yes,
Lose
100%.
battles,
That
yes.
has never worked for me because I lose all the time in
I
that game.
think that one will be in my top
Well, you won't go
500
Valve.
list. So
But yeah, no, good pick. So
excellent pick.
my number 50 is probably the newest game that's out. It's the newest game on my list. It is Ready Set Bet.
Oh, nice.
That is my number 50. That is a wild gambling. You know, you're betting
Yeah.
on the The horses, I can't wait to play this with an actual person like
rolling the dice.
rolling the die and running the race, but I love it with the app.
Yeah,
I think it is.
They do a good job with the app.
I think the app is fantastic. It does exactly what you need it to do.
Great
It works
atmosphere
really
and
well.
music.
I've never had a bad time playing this, whether I am way ahead or way behind. And also, it plays in like a half an hour with Teach.
Yeah,
At
like
most.
45 minutes. I think we played last
know-
night with 5 people and a bunch of new people.
You know,
everybody's yelling around, yelling at the app, like, "Come on, 7! Come on, 7! Come on, 10!" Yeah,
yeah, it's
It's a good time.
just a good time. And, you know, those are games that always will work for me. You know, if it's just fun.
Right.
Like, you know, don't
Wait.
overthink it. Just,
we're not here to have fun.
well, listen.
Yeah.
You got some games that ain't fun on your list.
I
bet.
actually thought you'd have this one higher.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
shocked.
this is the one I had to boot somebody to make
get
this
that on
on
my
my
list.
list because I was like, how is
Wow.
this not on my list?
Wow.
But then by going through, and it's like, well, no, because I thought it'd be higher too. I thought it'd be a top 25 game for me. I really did. And in some iterations of my list, it was. But then by the time it got all the way back around
Wow.
and I'd added some other games, it realized, because I also originally, when I was doing my thing, didn't have games that I didn't own on my list. And it's like, well, that's flawed because there are some games that I absolutely love that I do not own, which be coming up in like 2
That happens,
So,
for sure.
so I had to, so then, you know, the list got repopulated, right, with like all these other things, and I booted a game to make make Ready Set Bet happen. So, anyways, Daniel, 50.
It's a fine game. This is actually hilarious to me because this is the one game in my entire top 50, which makes sense. It's 50 that I was like,
Oh, wow.
well, I was like, is it really this high? Like, and I was thinking about it, and I literally was trying to get it off the list. I had the option.
gotta get this one
I was
outta
like
here.
going through my other games, and I was just like, why is this game so high? It
I got
just seems
some
like
here.
a weird placement. But I was looking at other games, and I was just thinking about it, and I was just like, I think it's because this is one of those games that I just like. I can play with my family so well. It's a nice little puzzle aspect, and that's Potion Explosion.
Great game.
Yep, my number
Yeah.
50 is Potion Explosion by Horrible Guild, I think. Right?
Yep.
And it's like I describe it as like a match 3 game that you would play like on your phone. It's not exactly that, but the basic premise is there's marbles on a device that slide, and you are trying to remove marbles to cause light-colored marbles to hit so that they explode, and you get
All those extra marbles.
combos and
Yeah.
stuff that you're trying to build, and you're literally then putting those on potions to create potions. Then once you make the potions, not only they're victory points, but you can drink them on your turn
Yeah.
to enact
So
like
much-
insane
so
asymmetric abilities and
Yeah.
stuff too. It's just a really fun little puzzle game. It's like a party puzzle game, which isn't like a very popular combination. You know, you usually have really thinky puzzle games or no thinky party games, and this one does a good job of matching both.
Yeah, it's a really clever game, and I love the little tray thing where the marbles come out, and like, yeah, you pull the one out, and as long as they collide and explode, you get to keep pulling.
Yeah, yeah.
marbles
There's a
out.
nice
We'll try to-
flawlessly.
toyetic feel to that that like also makes it
Yeah,
accessible
very
to play.
tactile.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Potion Explosion. If you like light, fun puzzle games, I think it's one of the better ones.
It's
for
great.
sure.
It is a great game. Strong recommend. I don't even know where I've got it rated.
I haven't
but
played
it
the
is
physical
fantastic
version,
game.
but I've played the app quite a bit.
Oh, yeah?
It's,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Well,
it's a
imagine
fun game.
the same fun game, but then like also you get the coolness of actually sliding marbles around, right?
Clap,
Yes.
clap,
It
clap.
does have a very good tactile experience there for sure. Okay, so my number 50, I really wasn't sure if this would make the list, but this is my most played game of all time. So I just had to find a way to fit this on here.
Munchkin.
The very first group I ever started meeting up with met in Warsaw, and they were kind of like the catapult. They were the catalyst for me to get as deep into this hobby as I got. And when I first met these guys, we played a buttload of One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and I
sure.
still love this game. I just don't care who doesn't. This is my list. And if you tell me I can get 10 other people around a table yelling and shouting and have a rowdy game of One Night Ultimate Werewolf to finish a game night, sign me up for that every time. I love big rowdy games.
I mean, hey, my number 50 was also a big rowdy game, so you're not getting any pushback from me. I just don't like it.
there may be crossover.
pushback.
But yeah, I love One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I actually log all my plays. I log every round of One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Yikes.
And well, that's because is there a winner determined? Yes.
Nerd.
Okay, you just played the full game.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
the
Yeah.
full game.
Yeah.
Maybe it only takes 10 minutes, but I've played 215 rounds of One Night Ultimate Werewolf. So
That's
how
not
can I
nothing.
leave that off my list? I can't. I still enjoy it. I don't know if I have the group for it anymore. But if you can get your friends to play with their kids and then you get their kids to bluff their parents, oh, that is so fun. That is so fun.
Teach them to lie.
So
to their
yeah,
parents.
it's hilarious because they don't expect them to be able to lie to them, and they're lying straight to their face, and you're helping them do it. I mean, I just had great experiences playing this game, so that's my 50. One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I've played a lot of the Daybreak expansion as well. That has some very fun roles in it. And my favorite expansion after that is the Aliens, the Vampires is okay.
That's what I was gonna ask, is the Aliens, the Vampires, because you say expansion, but really they're
They're
their own
standalone
games.
Just their own
You
game.
Like they
can-
have new mechanics. and
Standalone
stuff.
expansion.
Yeah, you can
Tim's
mix
favorite.
some stuff in. Daybreak is fully mixable with base, but yeah, Vampires you kind of play on its own, and Alien you kind of play on its own as well.
Right.
But love them all.
I like it quite a bit. It's not my favorite, werewolfy type deduction
I
game.
get it.
But I mean, I liked it enough to spend money to make my own rethemed copy. And
Yeah,
stuff,
I really
and-
still want to play that.
Yeah, I know.
I say it all the time,
It's gonna
but-
be One Night Ultimate Werewolf, just so you know. It's the same game.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I like the.
I
theme
find
a
it
lot more.
thematically way more interesting.
Remind me of the theme you made.
I made it Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, that's
One Night in Gotham.
Yeah, One Night in Gotham. But and I like that it's just chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not really much of a puzzle there, which is probably why Bob doesn't love it, because it's just people say things, people point fingers, then after 5 minutes the game's over.
Making up stories out of whole cloth.
Yeah. And I could see that. And then same thing with Tim. While I think his argument's dumber, I also totally agree with it though,
Seems fair.
because I feel the same way about like Happy Salmon. Because part of me is like
It's
a-
very group dependent.
I'm just saying, part of me is like, it's like a 5-minute dumb party game. Just play it. How do you hate it so much? But then I'm like,
'Cause you
I
play
don't
it
really
8
like
times
Happy
in a
Salmon,
night.
and that's a 30-second dumb party. So that does not make any
Yeah.
sense. So I don't
It
know.
is. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't think Happy Salmon's on my top 50.
Oh, really?
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Then stop
Breaking news.
pushing it on us.
Spoiler-
Sad Salmon.
Okay.
Salmon.
So number 49.
49.
Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
heard
dice
of it.
drafting. Yeah, you have a very modular board where you're upgrading your tavern and trying to lure the nobles in and earn as many victory points as you can. And you're upgrading it by adding more tables. You can have more chairs. You can hire a dishwasher. You can increase the size of your cellar. It's just a really fun I don't know, when this one came out, I feel like it was one of the very first ones where it was a lot of the modules were used. I'm sure there are other games that use the modules you could add in and out, but that was one of the first ones that I was kind of exposed to, and teaching it at different levels. So it's good for introducing people to games and different concepts, like the drafting the dice and whatnot. And I don't know, I like that you can play with various levels of people, right, from beginner players to expert players, because you just add in all the modules for people who have played a lot of games, and I really enjoy it.
I love this game so much that I won't talk about it for a few weeks.
Here's my statement on it. This is by Wolfgang Warsch.
It is.
You might know that name because you, as a human being, probably own Quacks of Quedlinburg. If you do,
What game is that?
please get Taverns of Tiefenthal. No one has heard of this game,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Everyone knows
It is
Quacks, and no one knows Taverns, and it's a disservice to humanity that not enough people have played Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Yeah.
It is an A+ game.
Yeah.
It might be on my list.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, the biggest thing I would say is it comes with wooden dice. That's my biggest downside of it because I'm just not a big fan of wooden
like
dice.
It's a
Wooden
bit
dice.
thematic for the game, but yeah,
Yeah,
just because
I like
everything in the game is like wood.
I'm going to
Sure.
go out on a limb and say Dan's going to agree with me that Taverns of Tiefenthal is better than Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I wasn't gonna say that, but it's way better, which
Well,
is why
but I
I'm
know you don't like
trying-
Quacks,
Correct.
but I love
That's why
Quacks.
I'm trying
Sure,
to get
yeah.
all these people out here that have definitely
Yeah.
played Quacks to check out
Taverns. Taverns is so good.
so
Taverns
good.
of Tiefenthal.
I like it, and I bought it. It did not make my top 50.
Oh my God, I love that game so
You
much.
just need to play it more.
Foolish man.
I'll play it.
You have chosen.
I guess it's just Dan and I in this,
Poorly.
doing the rest of the show. We can
yeah.
go a lot faster. My number 49 is one of the first games of this style that I played. I absolutely love it. The theme is fantastic. I will never turn down an opportunity to play Letters from Whitechapel. Such a good game.
So good.
So good. I don't know who designed it. I don't know if they've done other
I
things.
can't even pronounce.
Came
the
out in
name.
like 2012.
Yeah,
And this game is just an evergreen game. 10 years old.
Yeah, so old.
Still in my collection. Still gets played.
Yep.
Gets requested.
Yep.
You know,
Beautiful box,
Beautiful artwork.
Yeah,
Very
beautiful
thematic.
artwork.
I love
It
the
is
little jack.
thematic.
little jack-
Extremely
It's thematic.
colorful board.
It can be ugly, but still be thematic.
This is true.
And when I say extremely, I mean 2 colors.
Yeah.
I really want
Black
to do
and
like a
beige.
You mean
live
it used to
play
be
or at
Tremely,
least a
and now it is
film,
extremely.
filming of that, right? With a camera like top down of like where Jack's
Well,
at.
yeah,
so I
yeah,
see
yeah.
where it's at. Yeah,
That would
that
be
would
thing
so
that I,
cool.
that I
cool.
mentioned,
This-
I would love to do
The
that.
colors of this game were made for Jason from Board Game Mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Just made for
There's a
Jason.
lot of tan.
Top 5.
You would think Jason, if he's not colorblind, would wish that he was colorblind for like the
Yeah.
lack of colors.
Yeah.
But like a
was-
very rare specific colorblind where it's just tan and brown.
yeah.
Brown. Yeah, I just see tans and brown. Sorry.
I only
Yeah.
see earth tones. So
And
I can
you know,
see an earth
and only cubes also. Only cubes in games as well. But yeah,
I'm shape blind.
Letters from Whitechapel is just such a great 1v many hidden movement
Yep.
game. Lots of tension.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite
suspense.
mini games.
And an amazing theme.
And hidden movement.
Great theme. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yep, 49. Letters from Whitechapel.
Good game, Tim. It's good to know you started your good games at 49.
Yep. They all downhill from here.
My 49, I was almost so happy with because I thought when I added that new game it was going to be 50. Don't know how that worked out, but it's 49 unfortunately because it was 30 last time we made the list, so it would have been just on the cusp of both lists.
So it's still just on the cusp.
And that's XCOM, the board game by FFG.
So hard.
I have not played this game in so long, and it is sad because I want this experience again. It's not a game that I would want to play super often. It is stressful. It is a cooperative timed game where each person has an asymmetric role, and then there is an app that kind of guides you through what you're doing as you're each taking your actions. Like, okay, I handle the money. No one else can do that. On when it tells me to budget, I have to budget with no one else's like input. Like I'm just like budgeting, and I can kind of be like, how much science do you think you're gonna
Yeah,
need?
all
this
of it.
time, Bob?
Focusing.
You're gonna need a lot. Okay, well that's gonna cost us about 8. Hey, you, and meanwhile there's a timer going. You have 10 seconds to budget, right? And then the second that's done, it moves on to next task. It goes, okay, science engineer, pick your project for the next season, right? And it's just going back and forth. And then when Earth is getting invaded, there's UFOs showing up. We have to decide if we're sending our skyscrapers, whatever they're called, the Sky Rangers.
Yeah, I think it's Sky Ranger.
To go and get that, and then the timer stops, and then you just reap the benefits and the negatives
Or-
of every
yeah.
decision
The thing
that
that
you
just
just
happened.
made. It tells you,
Yeah.
okay, based on the science projects that you selected, what happens? Based on the soldiers you sent to fight the aliens, what happened? Based on the Sky Rangers you sent, what happens? And you just like, so it's just stress, tension. As you see what happens.
Damn
It is a surprisingly strong implementation of an app for one of the very early app-based games.
Yeah.
You know, like, but they do a really good job with it, and it consistently creates like a very stressful but fun experience.
It makes it really thematic too, because the way the app works, I mean, they based it on the newer XCOM video games, and
Right.
the app just looks like the video games.
Yeah.
So they had a very strong,
Base,
core,
yeah.
to build off of, and that helped a lot. But yeah, this is a game that just doesn't get talked about a lot, and I love the gameplay loop of the stress. First of all, I love difficult cooperative games. I love games that are based on like real things. Like, I mean, Alien Invasion isn't real, but like the whole, you're budgeting, you're sending our soldiers to places,
Right.
you're protecting the sky with the Sky Ranger stuff. Like, we all have realistic jobs that we're communicating with and trying to manage our budget and be like, okay, we can only send 3 soldiers to that thing because we need enough money to pay for our Sky Rangers, or else we're going to lose Asia. You know, and like that
Right.
kind of stuff is amazing to me. And I just
Could
don't
you
think it
imagine
gets talked about.
playing that on a war room map? Where it's like,
Oh, it'd be amazing.
oh, that'd be so
I'm in.
stressful. Not that we'll ever talk about war room on this.
Exactly.
no.
Not today.
My number 49 is one of those games that just provides an experience. And it's one of those experiences that months, years later, you find yourself still talking about. I love bluffing. We've already determined that. I had one night at my 50, and you'll see more social deduction games on my list. But my number 49 is Cosmic Encounter.
Oh, nice one.
I haven't played this game in years, but it just doesn't matter. Like, if I have the group and I have the time and I have people willing to play Cosmic Encounter, who's going to partner up with me? Because we're going to win. Okay? As long as you hold by that agreement, I will see to it that you win every game of Cosmic Encounter that you ever play. Just play with me and team up with me.
I will make it my life mission to take you down. I find that tactic terrible. I hate it.
I feel like I want to play Cosmic Encounter.
I kinda wanna
What's
play
up,
now.
Mike?
You know, I love the backstabbing that you can do, like when you're selecting your battle card, and then hey, why don't we just both play negotiate cards, and then if you both play them, okay, then you can negotiate. But if one person plays a battle card, they totally screw over the other
Yeah.
person, so you can give that false promise and then backstab. Oh, it's just so good. I've had some great experiences playing Cosmic Encounter. The only knock is that I haven't played it in a while, but I just have so many good stories to tell from that game.
Love that game. It's so much fun.
Never played it.
Yeah.
Slight tangent because you reminded me because I said that tactic is terrible and it is. But at a
listening.
game night the other night, at the end of the night, Caleb pulled out Happy Salmon, and it just reminded me, slight tangent, because they handed out the cards. It was like Jesse, me, Andrew, Jonathan, Caleb. Yeah, and we got it set up, and I went to Jesse and I said, let's just play with each other. And so everyone was like pound it, and we were like, Jesse would flip his next card and I would go until I got what he needed, and we'd do it, and like we almost won. We had one card
See
left.
what a great experience
Right.
he had playing this game.
It was, well, that game takes 25 seconds.
Would you like to form an alliance?
I was just like, I don't love Happy Salmon anyway, but I was just like, I don't know if this tactic will work. Let's only play with each other. And like Andrew was like not having it. He would like butt in and say like, freaking pound it. Like, it was fantastic. That's weird.
Listen, his sensitivities cannot handle
We had a very loose transition from Cosmic Encounter to Happy Salmon there, but
Same game.
you
For-
made up,
Same
you
might
made
as well be
up
the same
for it
game.
with the alliances,
For
so
being
I'll
the
allow
only guy
it.
at the table that loves that game, it's getting a lot of talk by not just me.
I think I've only played it like once, and that was like years ago with you.
Fix that.
I'm a sad salmon.
Oh.
All right, Bobby.
All right.
48.
48. So this game was introduced to me by Tim's sister and emphasized by Dan. Rah, 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 rah. I had so much fun playing this game that I went and found a copy that was missing some pieces. And then I bought the Geeked Up bit so I'd actually play the game. And now that it's being reprinted, I went ahead and bagged the reprinted one. And I'm going to compare and contrast, see which one I like, and I'll probably get rid of or maybe give away a copy to a lucky subscriber. We'll see what's happening.
Subscriber
But
number
yeah,
2000.
Ra's a great, yeah, well,
Little
maybe like-
close.
yeah, maybe not quite
Hopefully
that
we
one.
get to 2,000 before they
Before that
that
fulfills. Yeah, true. But no, so it's a set collection. You're pulling tiles out of a bag and adding them to this lineup. You can try to bid on the lineup and take the tiles, or you pass the bag and it keeps going. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. And at the end of the era, you're going to calculate how many points you have for your sets and whatnot, and you're going to play through a couple of eras. And man, it's just a lot of fun. Like I love the the bag drafting and like
Yeah.
pulling the bag, the tiles out of the
Tiles out.
bag. Man, it's
This is the game that got booted off of my list for Ready Set Bet.
Wow.
And it's only, but I said next year it's going to be on because I'm going to own Raw.
Yeah,
and
you'll
I'm
have
gonna
it
play it a
yourself.
lot more.
Right.
But I've never had a bad time playing Raw.
Yeah.
I had originally only even played it on the app because you couldn't get Raw anywhere.
it's hard to find.
And the app is good, but it doesn't
Get
convey that experience with like
Yeah.
actually playing with other people and like digging in the bag and everybody's like on their edge of their seat waiting to see what tiles come.
yeah, you
what
pull too many
come
raw
out.
tiles out and it busts.
Yeah. And the chanting,
Uh-huh.
which Dan started, and it's great.
Well, I saw it in a video once and I liked it a lot, so I stole it.
caught
As
on.
far as I know, Dan is the only one that's ever done it until we did
so,
it.
yeah, he claims it.
Yep. He claims it. So
right.
don't come at me.
It's all on him.
I just unclaimed it.
We reclaimed it for you.
Oh, thanks.
So my 48, I believe, is loved by everybody at this table.
Oh, geez.
I think everybody's played it. It's a great game that I do not own, but I need to buy this game. I just need to have it in my collection. It is The Downfall of Pompeii.
Yes.
See,
Nice.
Awesome.
you don't like it?
No, I don't like it.
Oh.
I don't dislike it.
God, I
How
love
do you
this
not like the
game.
game?
I don't like it.
Have you never played Downfall
you're
of
so
Pompeii?
wrong.
I
Dan.
did finally at
No,
the last
he
Julia
loved
con.
it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
It
There's
is.
the again, we're drawing things out of a bag, right? I see a theme.
Yeah.
Mike, there's a theme to our top.
Hey.
It's all Happy Salmon related. But no, you're drawing tiles, out, and once you
Yeah,
first
there's two parts. First, you're
you're-
bringing people into the city.
Yeah, everybody come to this
Come and
wonderful
visit.
city
Ooh,
of
the
Pompeii,
signs of the gods.
where-
Ooh, the
where-
omens are great.
Where
Yeah.
nothing bad has ever happened or will happen. Oh crap!
Yeah.
Then the volcano erupts. power-ups, and now you are trying to get your people out of the city.
Pulling
as you're-
lava tiles out
as
of the
you're
bag.
dropping lava tiles down, and man, what a good time!
It is.
I love it. I love making sounds as I throw my enemies' cubes into the volcano. I've seen the gigantic version of it at Gen Con. I would.
Okay, so on this note, I'm going to ask you real quick. Okay.
We were chatting about this.
We were chatting
yesterday.
about this, yes. So I have an idea for making the foam pieces. Do you think that Andrea would be able to have her company make a huge printout of the board if I gave her the image? Because I want to make a large Pompeii
Well,
board.
you don't know how large that is.
Well, I'm sure they have different sizes of billboards.
Maybe.
Right, but yeah, I'm talking like big. You walk on it because I want to take the foam noodles, cut
Right.
them into little pieces as your pieces.
Yeah, 'cause
Make
you
a
could
big
cut the
like
foam
cardboard like volcano and paint it, and you just walk over and like chuck somebody into the volcano. How awesome would that be?
Oh my
You
gosh,
know?
that would be
So
incredible.
we're gonna look into that. And that'd be amazing.
Sign
Okay.
me up for Downfall of Pompeii XLXL.
Yeah.
Quadruple X.
Well, then we
Quadruple
just,
X.
if Dan's like, meh, then we just take Dan and throw him in the volcano.
This game's a lot better now.
I mean, life-size like board games are the game's always better.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a game I don't love. I'll gladly walk around with giant pieces of Catan and stuff.
Yeah.
Come here, sheep.
Settle down, different game. All right, but yeah, Downfall of Pompeii is my number 48. I don't
pick.
own it.
Great
I
pick.
love that game. It's cheap to get. I just
Yeah.
need to get it.
Yep.
My number 48, I used to play it a lot, and I think that's why it was 9 last time. Like, so it's dropped quite a bit.
Barely
but,
at all.
But again, I have played so many good games in the last 2 years. But so in this game by Gray Fox, sometimes you purposely send your units in to die, and it's actually a totally valid way to win. And that's Champions of Midgard.
Yeah.
People who don't like the game have just played wrong.
They have.
And it's really sad to hear that they didn't even understand that you're supposed to lose fights. That's weird.
The Vikings, they die.
Yep.
Go sip on this haterade real
I
quick.
I will point out that I like base game, but it is drastically improved by Valhalla. And when I rank it, I usually include Valhalla in my ranking.
Yep.
So without Valhalla, it might be a little lower. But it's just a really good worker placement game that's dice based, which people complain about. But it just the way the game works, it does not matter that it's dice based. The whole point is you're just getting your units. And I mean, yeah, you want to win sometimes. That's a strategy too. But I'm just saying, with the Valhalla expansion, every unit that dies, you get their soul, and their soul is then currency to buy insanely overpowered things. And so you will literally send your units out on a boat without food. Because
we
they'll just die.
starved.
They don't even
Yeah.
have to fight. You just send them without food, and then you're like, it's literally you going to a worker placement slot and knowing, okay, I'm gonna get 3 pink souls, 2 yellow souls, and a blue soul. I'll send those guys out there to die. Okay, now I'm gonna take this card with that currency. Like that's what Valhalla makes it, and it's a fantastic addition to the game. But yeah, it's dropped quite a bit. It used to be like my second favorite worker placement game. I've played a lot. It's not anymore, but it's still 48 for me. I think it's a fantastic game.
Agreed.
My number 48. So my theme of games from 41 to 50 happen to be a lot of games that I've played a buttload. I've played these games a lot.
That seems to be your theme, buttload.
Yeah, buttload is my theme. So this is actually the game that I have played the most this year so far, and that is The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of co-op games on my list. I think it's just because I haven't played that many of them. But this would be one of my favorite co-op games. This is just a little trick-taking game, but you're all working together and trying to get specific people to take specific tricks. And I've played this with non-gamers, and we have celebration-worthy moments where everybody's played their whole hand. You've got one card left. You still need that one person to take this one trick with the yellow 6 in it, and then, yes, we got that trick. And then you go on to the next round. And then 2 people have to get a trick with 2 cards in it. And then 3 people got to get a trick with 3 specific cards in it. And I like the way it escalates. I like the way it makes use of limited information, because you can't talk about what's in your hand. That would completely ruin the game.
It adds some good deduction to it.
Yeah, it does, because the only information you can give is you got this little token. You have information tokens. You can take a card, place it face up right out of your hand, and put it at the top, bottom, or middle of the card. You're saying, this is my highest of this suit, or this is the lowest of this suit, or this is the only card I have of this suit. And the information is so important because it totally changes what you're going to play that round. And sometimes that's the difference between winning the round or not. And I just really like the cooperative aspect of this trick-taking game. It plays quick. You can play it with anybody. And I've had that game for a couple years, and I finally got it to the table a lot this year, and I'm glad I did because I like it quite a bit. It's a fun trick-taking game.
I played it once. I was really tired, didn't have a good time, but I don't really judge it based on that experience because of circumstances of when I played it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And it wasn't clicking for me at the time. But I was always kind of fascinated with it.
Right.
So.
I played a lot online with Levi and some of his friends. And that's how I was introduced to it. And we got like pretty far and we had a lot of fun with it. And then Mike brought it to one of our meetups one time and we played it. And it's fun IRL too. Like, you know, 'cause you're sitting there talking and you're trying to like read people and be like, okay, well, he didn't play the 4 this time, so maybe he doesn't have anything higher than that, you know, and like, yeah, you're just trying to gauge all that information.
I really want to pick up the new Deep Sea version and see what they've added to that. It's another fun, cheap trick-taking game. So
Cool. I'm very interested in the cooperative story, like feeling of the game because I hate trick-taking games.
You don't feel the. I don't really feel the story when I play it. Like,
I just mean how it's like you're going through like challenges and like
Sure.
it's like it escalates.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff
story I
like
feel
that.
is kind of tacked on, but the escalation is definitely there.
I'm interested in how that feels because, as just stated a second ago, I just hate trick-taking games. But this one is so well regarded and does have an interesting twist on it. So
Right.
yeah, it gets really tense. I think you might actually enjoy that one.
Yep.
You
well,
do
if
like
you think
difficult
so.
co-ops.
It's cooperative
Yeah.
trick taking. So.
Yeah.
All right. So number 47. So this is probably my favorite dungeon crawler app-driven type of game that I played. It has a lot to do with the theme. I'll give it that. But Dan and I a while ago went and basically picked out with some friends. I want to play this character, so I'm buying this expansion. I want to play this character, I'm buying this expansion. But Star Wars Imperial Assault has some of like the coolest characters and like missions and stuff you can go on. Like I played this like stealth Jedi who like kind of like go stealthy and then he would hit you for extra damage. And I love your character. Like it was kind of remind me of Bill Burr in The Mandalorian because he's like a smuggler dude and he would have shots. Then he had this like gun on his shoulder and like he would shoot and that thing would come around and shoot for him too. And ping, 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 ping. And it was just a lot of fun.
I love this game so much.
Yeah.
That's all.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot of games nowadays that are like, you know, oh put this tile out, populate it like this. Like Descent does that now. And,
Yeah, well,
a
I
lot
mean,
of
that
other
is essentially Descent 2nd Edition, just with the Star Wars theme.
right, yeah.
But-
And even the Journey of the Darkness is based. I mean, like Journey of the Darkness, there's like a lot more in-depth storyline type of stuff, whereas Imperial Assault is very like just kind of like, oh, there's this mission, you can do this. Oh, you can go on the side quest if you want to.
I mean, there is.
But I
a
enjoy the
through
Star
line.
Warsiness.
100%.
Yeah.
Star Warsiness.
Yeah,
That's the actual term.
It is.
term.
Yeah. Come on, Mike.
This guy.
This guy.
My bad.
And we see why
I'm
we were
not
all
up on
bummed
the
he was
preferred
showing up today.
nomenclature, apparently.
Well, you're learning.
Yeah, well, it's because
today.
you just learned about Star Wars like 2 years ago. So.
Well, that's fair.
I didn't even deny it. All right. My 47 is really interesting because it takes a game that I do not like and a game that I kind of like, mashes them together, and creates a game that I absolutely love, and that is
What's it between?
Yes.
Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Yes.
I liked Between Two Cities, thought it was interesting.
okay.
Did not really like Between Two
either.
the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I know Pete, if you're watching, I know Pete loves this game, and I would always play it with him, you know, because he loved it, and it's
Right.
like, well, you always play my games, I'm gonna play your game.
Sure.
I don't hate it, I just don't really love it.
Yeah.
But Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and again, so you're drafting tiles. Drafting, that seems to be a thing we like. You're drafting these tiles, and then you've got to take two, but you're building rooms with your neighbors,
Right.
you know, or this castle with your neighbor. So you're trying to work together on like, you know, like this and that,
Coordinate
because you're going to
strategies,
score
yeah.
your lowest
That's what I
castle.
like. You score
And
your lowest
what's
castle.
crazy is that like it doesn't seem like that should work.
Uh-huh.
Yet it always creates this really crazy compelling.
Because you can't just focus on one. You
Yeah.
gotta get them as even as possible.
And the rooms, you know, there's Easter eggs with like the names of the rooms
Sure, yeah.
and things like that. This is a
They're
Stonemaier
funny.
game.
Yeah.
You know, and I do like a lot of Stonemaier games and stuff, but I just have a great time every time I play this game. I played it at varying player counts. I haven't played it with like 2,
Yeah,
but
I
I mean
haven't
with
either.
3, I played it with 5, you know, and I've had a good time
fun.
with all of these. So Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, good job. It's a great
Yep. Best blend of the two games.
game. And also really nice art and color palette. Sure. So sure, I'll throw that out there.
And a good insert.
Oh, it does have a great insert.
Yeah.
Dan.
This is my biggest fear for a top 50 list is I forgot to rate this game. So it wasn't on my list. So it was overlooked. I don't know if it would have been in my top 50, but I'll say probably.
Yeah.
But you do like this game,
Oh,
though.
I love it.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Fantastic.
I thought you did.
That was one that
I
fell
like
off.
both other games too. Well, I've only watched Between Two Cities, but it's very similar.
It's very similar.
like-
I think Between Two Castles looks better and is. Sorry, go on.
Sure. Well, I'm just saying, Between Two Castles is basically the gameplay Between Two Cities with like some of the aesthetics.
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
other
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Correct.
Fair.
But I do like the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I really like that literally building a layout of a thing.
I
But yes,
think
this
for
one
me,
is
it's the
fantastic.
bidding on the rooms and stuff makes it a little
One person's the
clunky.
builder.
It is
Yeah, it is a little
clunky for
clunky.
sure, but it is a well-designed bidding
Clunk.
system with the way that it's set up and the way that someone controls it. It's almost like a I split you choose, but not
Yeah,
a
right,
bidding
right. Because I'm
version.
setting the
Sure.
prices
Right.
to hope to not price myself out, but also to
Priced you out.
price.
Right. But yeah, anyway, Between Two Castles is a fantastic game.
Yeah, right on. It's a fun game. Have you played it yet, Mike?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
My 47 was 7 last time. And
Whoa.
again, I think it's just because back then I played it quite a few times
Well,
in a row.
When we did our top 30, I think Dan had only played like 100 games
That's
at the time.
accurate as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to throw
No,
shade.
no,
I
that's
think we were.
the reason we did a top 30 is
And not a
because
50.
I couldn't get that many
legit
games.
50,
Yeah,
yeah.
like and so it's amazing how
Yeah.
far we've
How far
come.
we've come.
Well,
But,
your dedication is bearing its
off.
fruit now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from 7 to 47, that is a Game of Thrones, the board game.
Oh man, we'll talk in a couple of weeks about this bad boy.
Yeah,
I love this game.
From Final Fantasy Flight, not Final Fantasy. I
Final
always do that.
Also
Final
a good game. That might be in my top 50. We'll see.
From Fantasy Flight.
Game version?
Just the fantastic political area control war game. Just really good. I mean,
I love the hidden assignment of the
yes,
movements.
that's
and
like the
actions.
big thing the
Yeah.
game gives you is like the two big things the game brings you, like mechanic wise, is hidden assignment where everyone puts their things down and then they all flip and then there's an order that they activate. And it's the decisions that are made are so intense in that game of like
And the
I'll be
promise
holding
is
like 3
broken.
tokens and I'm just like. What's Tim gonna do? I don't know. And the second thing is the fact that there are the 3 tracks, and whoever's highest on the track gets like a power,
An extra power,
from it, like
yes.
and then like the manipulation of those tracks, and sometimes purposely being like, I just don't care about that track because I really need this one out. Because then the higher you are on the tracks, also tell you how many of your special assignment tokens you can use with the stars on them and stuff.
Yep.
Just some fantastic mechanics in here. This is a game that I would kind of describe like Dark Souls and stuff, to where it takes a hit a little bit on gameplay in some ways to be completely thematic to the source material.
Yes.
As far as an area control game goes, there are some areas in the game where you're like, this position is terrible compared to every other person's position.
Right.
This is unfair, an area control game. And it's like, well, kind of, but that's just how the
Sorry,
world
Greyjoy.
works.
Suck it up.
Sorry, Greyjoy.
I
Use your
did,
boats.
I did very well with the Greyjoys last time.
That's
we
because you
played. Very
manipulated
well.
the Lannisters.
Well,
Not just the Lannisters, the
And the
brand new
Starks.
player.
Yeah.
both.
That's-
I was sitting between 2 brand new players, made alliances with both. Dan
Yeah.
goes, "That's a terrible idea."
Yeah, don't listen to this guy.
I did not betray anybody until the very last turn.
Well, until I had what I
That's what I said.
It was so
That's how it
good.
happened.
That's what I said was gonna
Chris
happen.
is still salty about like 4 years ago or 5 years ago when we played and we backstabbed around who he was. But you're like, oh yeah, we're totally not gonna go in there. So he moved all these people out. It's like, well, I mean, I walked one guy in there. He was still mad about
Listen,
that.
I can still tell stories about the times that Pete has
Yeah.
destroyed me because I just needed one more turn of that alliance to last, and
Right.
everything would be mine. And that's when Pete decided to strike.
Nope.
Oh, it's such a good game, but great stories.
Yeah.
It's such great stories,
North
though. That,
remembers.
come on, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
This is also a game very similar to if you play Jaws or if you play The Thing, where you obviously have the soundtrack playing in the background as you're playing. And it
Well, when I
just-
first got this game, that was
soundtrack
not an
didn't
option.
exist. Yeah.
Because I got
how
first
long ago
edition
that
and
was.
second edition. But
Yeah.
yeah, the soundtrack does help though when you're
Yeah.
playing it now. Good point.
that's Game of Thrones.
Man,
got
great pick.
I only got to play this game once years ago, and I just got absolutely annihilated in it. So I that hurt my experience.
Your tears
so
are delicious.
I'll play it. I'll play it again.
It is
but
rough for new
It
players.
was a bad experience.
I'll say it is rough for new players, and also it is on the shoulders of the experienced players to give you someone that's easier to play.
Well, and so
Right.
I think when we did this and we played with new players last time we played this game just a couple months ago, I felt like we did a good job of that.
I felt like it was pretty good.
And I felt like we tried to create also sort of a competitive atmosphere where they could still be
Yeah.
involved
no
in
one
doing
There
things.
wasn't a blowout.
No. And I think that is on the way to the teacher to help also, you can play a
Weren't
competitive
you
game.
listening earlier when I talked about teaching Foundations of Rome and got
saying
that,
third
like,
to
there,
two new
there
people?
are some people, like we were just joking about the Greyjoys. I would never give the Greyjoys to a new player.
No, not
No.
unless they're like, that's my favorite house.
That's right.
So
What is dead cannot die.
my experience, my first time playing it was forced on me because all the experienced players said I don't like playing them.
Yeah,
so the
screw them.
experienced
That's
players
terrible.
threw it on the new guy, and that's just so rude.
No, that's terrible
So-
because I specifically took the Greyjoys because that was
Right.
the hardest one based on who we
Right,
and I had
you
the
did
most
totally fine.
and I had the most miles in that game, right? Like so give it to me, make me work for it.
But
know.
That's good.
I'm just saying there are definitely caveats with a new player in that game. It can be
100%, and shame on the people that wrecked your first experience. They should
Yeah,
have
people like that should be rewarded.
so you're bragging about Foundations of Rome and finally losing to two new people. How many months of playing with new people did it take for you to finally
Realize that's the way to do it?
Yeah.
Let's see. It came out and well, it was just funny though because I actually was just more focused about trying to make sure that Mike didn't do well. That
Oh, nice.
Because Mike had played before and like he like had put a building out and was gonna get a ton of money off of like what I was trying to do. And I was like, change plans.
Yeah,
and I
this ain't
totally built
happening.
a completely different thing there. And yeah, you remember that?
Oh yeah, I had a building that was worthless for 2 straight eras
did.
until I was able
Scored
to buy
0
an
points.
adjacent property and make it a
something
totally
else.
different building.
I love it.
Wasted building.
So good.
Okay, so non-co-op guy has 2 co-op games back to back.
All right.
So I really enjoy Horrified. Horrified
Yeah,
is my
really
number
good.
47. It's very much like Pandemic, and I accept that, even though I don't enjoy Pandemic. But it doesn't have the fiddliness of that deck that you got to
Listen,
constantly manipulate.
You can have 2 games that are kind of the same game, and one is fun to you and one isn't.
It's
That's the
also
thing.
it's also far more thematic, and I also really like the mini games the games give you depending on the monsters that you have in play.
Mm-hmm.
This theme does a lot for me. Like I'm out here and I'm collecting these things and I'm trying to slay these monsters that have overtaken the village and that sort of thing.
Well, and it's
so I'm
not
trying
just-
to save these villagers.
It's not just like, oh, I need yellow cards to get rid of the yellow disease. It's like, no. I need to gain all of these very specific items. Now they happen to be the same color, right, to take out Dracula. But the theme does come through, which makes
absolutely. Yes.
it a far superior
The
experience.
theme helps a lot in this game. Plus, running the monsters is very simple. You just flip one card and it tells you what to do. So,
it's
like
very
the monster
straightforward.
activation is very easy to do. I don't mind controlling it. I have an issue with games where I got to like do too much there's too much manipulation to keep an AI player going, or like solo games where I got to do all this stuff to control the AI player, and too much of that kind of ruins it. And I don't like the theme of Pandemic, and I don't like the deck manipulation. Constant shuffling that deck.
Those might be my 2 favorite aspects of Pandemic.
I get it. I
That
mean,
deck
it
manipulation is
creates
genius balancing.
It creates the tension in that game, but yeah, Horrified. I like the theme. It works a lot for me, and I like the monsters, and I like the different mini game puzzles that they give you, because every monster is its own little unique mini game. And I got to take these resources and dump them over in this location, but then I also got I got to move this boat along the way and get the boat to the harbor because I'm trying to take out the
Swamp Thing.
the Swamp Thing. There you go.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature
That's what
from
it
the
is.
Black
I've never
Lagoon.
played
That's the
that
one.
so I didn't know what it was.
I've never played the game.
Yeah, so just
fun.
my
played,
one of my favorite co-op games. I really enjoy Horrified. It's simple, but don't let that rule set scare you. It's a lot of fun.
That's good.
That was going to be my one thing. Is it's a good game. I just find it too family weight. I find it too simple.
Yeah, I don't. And in fact, if you sit down and explain the game to somebody, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to go through all the rules. Like it's borderline family weight. I've seen some people that said it was too much because it's simple concepts, but it is a lot to cover. Like it's not just, hey, move and pick stuff up.
And if
Well,
you're not
how do we-
optimizing your turns, it will kick your butt.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can. It can. And you can scale the difficulties. So
That's true. I did not do that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I just played like whatever the base game thing
Sure,
was. So
So that brings us to 46.
Whoa, my 46 is tough.
So my 46 was one of my first Stonemaier games that I played. I played a lot online as well. I've played the majority of the campaign. Scythe. It has awesome art, awesome pieces, dual layer player boards. Like I love how you build things off your board and what you take it off of. You gain that benefit, and then also when you put things on there, you're going to gain that benefit. The mechs, transporting your workers all over the place. Like, there's just so much of this game that I enjoy that it's been on my list ever since I've been making lists.
This is a game that I've kind of, I don't want to say fallen out of love with, but like I used to love Scythe. And I think now I just don't think about it near as much. It's still a really good game.
I think if you played it again, you probably would.
I'd probably be like,
right?
oh,
It's been a really
yeah, this
long
game.
time.
Yeah, but it's probably been like 2 years. I think I played it with you and your brother last time.
And that was us. It was like a rough game because we were testing out the airship expansion.
Yeah.
So we weren't
Okay.
exactly new on the rules.
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
didn't exactly understand the rules and stuff.
And it wasn't like a bad experience
Sure.
by any means.
There was
but
just a
it's-
little bit of clunk, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. What is normally like a very good, smooth.
Streamlined, yeah.
Yeah. No, Scythe is a great game. I was kind of surprised it didn't show up on my top 50 because I was like, man.
You know-
It's I
go
would say
ahead.
its coins are so cool. I brought an extra set
Oh,
that
yeah.
I use
They
for
are
other
fantastic.
games as well. Some of the best coins in any.
Look at
Those
it
are the-
use Stonemaier, which like has like a 95% track record on like really great components for games. Only one dud for me.
Those are the coins I use for other games as well. They're just
1s, 3s, 5s, 10s. It's
yes,
convenient.
great
You know,
denomination.
one of my
Good look.
favorite things about Scythe is the fact that the person who ends the game isn't necessarily the person that wins.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I know
that's
somebody that
one of
hates
my
that.
favorite things as well,
Yeah.
Dan.
Ah.
It's a
Gosh.
really great mechanic.
Gosh,
It is.
It's like
I
somebody that
agree.
It
hates
makes
that.
you have to think about when
Hey, do I want to
It
end
does.
do that.
Yes.
You know, yeah, it's really good.
It's great.
It's really good.
Scythe is excellent.
Caleb. I'll say it.
You'll hear more from me on that, but it's going to be a bit.
Yeah.
So my number 46, it kind of broke my heart that it was at 46 because I thought this game would be like a top 25.
Okay.
For sure.
You've said that a lot. You know, there's only 25
There's
games.
only 25 games in there.
25, right?
Yeah.
I know.
He's like, I'm bringing in my top 40 games and my top 25. There's 40
But
games in there.
I thought this game would be a lot higher because I do love this game. And I think Dan is the only one at this table that doesn't love this game.
Checks out.
And he wants to love this game. He just can't bring it in his
I
black
think I know.
heart
I think I know.
to love it.
Yes.
And it is Smartphone Inc.
It is. Great game.
Your cold black heart just
Yes.
will not allow
No,
it.
my cold black, terrible at the game.
I would say Blackberry.
That's what it is.
But I love this game
Yeah,
and just
so
doing
good.
the rankings over and over and over. And I kind of even like had to make sure it was in the top 50 because I was like, gosh dang it, this game is in my top 50.
The whole board
I
is
just want to
dual
rub it into
layered.
Dan, even though it clearly, after my 3 tests, didn't deserve to be in the top 50.
But
No, it's so good. Like I love the trying to play the other people where you're like, okay, they're gonna charge more. They're gonna do I want to
Yeah.
charge it first, or I want to just sell a couple of phones
this
but
game
for
just
expensive.
does a lot of things really well. And I just really like it. And this was a game that I was totally dismissed
Yeah.
just based on the box cover,
Yep.
and stuff. I was like, bleh, whatever. I don't need that hipster douche on my board game box.
Me, on the other hand, I keep talking about how there are not enough modern themes in games. The theme was what got me interested in this game. I'm like, oh my gosh, a game with a modern theme about smartphones, sign me up. I love this game. You'll hear more from me
When did
about
we
it
play
later.
I felt like we got exposed to it at the same time.
We did, right?
Was it at like a JuliaCon or something, or did you just buy it and we played it? I don't
think
remember.
I just bought it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
And
and
then
we
we
looked at it,
just-
we thought it was cool, and I was excited about the board being dual layered, so we bought it, and then I learned it.
Because I actually thought the first time I played it was in your
Well, no,
garage.
didn't Patrick?
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
Patrick taught me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought that was the first time
and then
you
the first
played
time,
it too.
no, the first time I played it was against you in the garage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah, Patrick taught me because remember he has his book with the little tabs in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, I got it, and then I taught you guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
fantastic. And was just in love like 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
The action crafting system.
Oh, the action crafting! Oh my god, it's so cool.
Trademark Julia Olmsted.
My favorite part about that is when you're doing that, the planning phase in the last round, and you know price is one of the most important
yeah.
factors because that determines initiative order for the entire final round.
good.
And
Yeah.
sometimes just whoever goes first in that last round may win the game.
I just need to sell a bunch
and
of junk
knowing
units for
how
a
That's
important
right.
that is makes that planning so important. I love
You guys have got to
that
try out the
game.
challenge mode, right? So that way, because that's one of the things I enjoyed about the mobile market,
cost.
where you have to, you're dealing with the cost of it too. So not only you're just trying to sell your phones, but you're trying to sell the cost. But in the challenge mode, when you're action crafting, all those things have negative icons on them too, and you have to pay that money in order to take those actions.
Man. Oh, yeah, make a
I
game
haven't
that Dan's
even-
bad at harder.
I know. I have all the Kickstarter stuff, and I haven't even touched any of
Oh
the
my
modules
gosh,
because I love base
yes.
games so much.
You
I
check that one
cannot
out.
disagree with a single thing that's been said, and I just don't have fun when I play it.
Hey,
It's like
I've been
Foundations in
there.
Rome.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. You guys will talk about how well
Man.
designed it is and how
Wow.
beautiful it is, and I'm like, yes.
Yes, I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still wrong.
I want to say
Totally
also,
fair.
I totally agreed, Mike. I was with you. The reason I was so interested in that game, and I was the first one singing its praises, I think, is because I was like, that theme is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
It
was
is.
all
It is.
over that.
I was thrown off by the box cover.
Oh,
and,
sure.
and it's not even the art is bad. That gentleman is drawn very well. I'm like,
Like a hipster douche.
yeah, that's all.
I'm gonna get thicker rim glasses and
Yeah.
grow my beard
Yeah,
out just so
just-
Ten can.
just a
don't-
little
yeah.
bit more.
You're like on the bottom rung right now as it is, man. Don't. All right, get Andrew back in here.
Thanks for showing up.
Wow. And I thought Andrew was the smug one on here, but it's apparently Bob
all
felt
the
threatened and needed to
I love
really
it.
Right, bringing me down a notch.
puff up,
Yeah.
puff up a little
Wow.
Anyways.
bit. Dan,
I'll
please
go
go
back
on
to
with
your
your.
That's right.
My turn.
Bob
for
doesn't drink
46.
at all?
Yes, please.
My 46 is a game I've only played one time. And it was just such a fun, memorable experience that it made it all the way up to 46 for me. I want to play it again. Bob actually just got his hands on it, I think. It's by IDW Games.
Yes.
And that is Mask of the Red Death.
Oh, it's so good.
Mask of Red Death is a deduction.
Deduction.
What the heck do you call it, man?
I haven't played it.
You're living out. You explain it. You've read the poem.
Yeah. So what is happening is it's based on the poem, the short, very very short story of Edgar Allan Poe, the Mask of the Red Death, and what you are all party goers, and there's basically the board is where your people are for what rooms, and it's really just like colors and like time. No, not even times. And then you've got all these cards that are different times, and death is going to be moving from like 1 to 12. You know what I mean? Or 12, 1 to 12,
once
1 to 2.
midnight hits.
Yeah. So you spend like 80% of the game trying to figure out where death is going based on by
His
looking at
movement pattern.
by
Exactly.
looking at cards in other people's hands, because then that card
You know,
that
that bit of
time is
information.
not down here, right?
Right, because there's the times are like randomly set out and they're put at the top in order of like midnight 1, 2. And so there are some things I think that let you look under that, but for the most part, you're looking at your hand and you're peeking other people's hands and you're eliminating. You're like, okay, so I know at 1 o'clock he won't be in the blue, red, or orange room.
Right.
So now I know he's in one of these two rooms, and you're slowly putting that together for 80% of the game.
Yes.
Like you said.
Yes, and then you have to and then after that midnight strikes, you have to program all of your moves.
Yep. It becomes a programming game.
oh my God.
For randomly at the end.
And you are just trying to dodge and not be in the rooms that when death goes through the room, right?
But you can only move adjacency. So you have to be able to plan
so
ahead,
hard.
knowing that each turn you can only move one space. You can't like just teleport around the board.
It's so
and
hard.
you're literally dancing around death as he's appearing, and he kills anyone in the rooms that he appears in.
Yeah.
And you're just it's like one of those like the lights turn off and then it appears, and you're just like seeing who's still standing. The
Yeah.
lights turn off, then it like turn back on, and you're just seeing who's still standing.
Yeah.
And it was just just a stand-up experience.
Yeah,
from
it
that
was
game.
great.
It was my heart was beating. It was a fantastic.
And the art is fantastic. It's
Yep.
very thematic. It is a lot of fun. It's a beautiful game. It's probably on my list later.
You have to teach me. I picked it up because you go on and on about
well,
it so
I mean,
much.
I've only played it once, but
Sure.
I can give you the basic rundown
Yeah.
when we get it.
Yeah.
I think this game has been in 3 lists that we've done recently. Still never played it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really
That's our
good.
goal.
Yeah.
enough talk. Let's play.
All right. Well,
right,
stop it.
we'll be back.
Kick that camera over.
Cut.
Don't even turn it off. Kick that thing over and break it
Yeah,
until we play.
that'll help, Matt.
All right. So I am returning to my theme of I've played this game a buttload of times.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Back to the
We
buttload.
actually played
Load of
this
butts.
recently with Bob. I've played this game 40 times now, and this is Karuba.
Ooh.
Karuba is
Karuba.
one of my favorite tile laying games, and it has such a simple rule set. I've played it with so many non-gamers that all love this game, and it's a very simple concept. You got a grid, a 6x6 grid. You got people that got to get to pyramids, and you've got 36 tiles. One person's going to draw one randomly and then read it out. 3. Everybody grabs their 3 tile, and they can place it anywhere on the board. and you're building these paths. So you're building paths to get your people to their pyramids.
Off the beach and into the jungle.
Yeah, so it's kind of got this loose sort of exploring theme, but what's interesting is every time you play the game, the layout is completely different. You can totally determine where the people start, where the pyramids are, and so every game plays completely different, and you're putting these tiles out in a totally different order every time. You don't know what order they're going to come out. You're like, oh my gosh, I need the 4x4 spot right here, and it just doesn't come out, and you're trying to build all these paths, and I love this game so much. I've played it so much. What I really want to do is put our 2 copies together and play an 8-player game. You ever done that?
No.
I've thought about doing
That's
that
not
for
a bad
years.
idea.
I want to
Yeah,
play an
that's
8-player
totally doable.
game of Karuba.
Okay.
I've heard of people doing this,
Yeah.
and I want to pull it off
I'm down.
sometime.
That's that's like my favorite Haba game. It's one of my favorite like introductory types of games. So many, like you're saying, non-gamers, people that don't game heavily.
You
Love
actually
it.
got me that game for like my birthday a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and I play it with my kids and
Yeah.
stuff.
Did you get a bag? Oh yeah, I got
You
your
got
bag
me
for
the
it.
Doctor Who bag, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to do the bag thing.
The bag
I haven't
thing's
done
great.
that yet.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So I love this game, and I've played it so much because I really enjoy it. I like games that have a simple rule set that give you difficult decisions, and this game has that in spades. Like every tile placement, you're like, oh, how long do I got to wait for that
Right.
4x4?
And it's not like monotonous. It's not like the same thing over and over again.
Right.
It changes every
Totally
time.
different
And
every
it's
time
very
you play the
accessible.
game.
Like in
Yes.
addition to
Yeah.
having very difficult decisions to make, it is also very accessible, which is a rare combination.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
know,
just it does
pick.
what it does very well. I've played this game at Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays, and just always have a lot of fun with Karuba.
All right. 45.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this is one of my games that Tim and I have played online a bit. It's not the one you're thinking. It's Through the Ages, a new story
Oh,
of civilization.
yeah.
It's one of the, I want to say light civilization games, but it kind of is
Gosh,
light.
it's light, but it's not.
Yeah, it's light, but it can be long. On the app, it goes a lot faster. It's not as fiddly. But, you know, there's I like it because of different paths of victory, right? Like culture types of victories. You can do military stuff. You're going through these different eras and, like, bringing in leaders and whatnot to help your civilization out. I don't know. I like it. It's a different like twist. It feels like it's not like just the standard like flip a tile and explore. You just have like your own area where you're building things. Is really all it is. And like it's one of the civilization games that I really enjoy. It's probably my maybe 3rd favorite civilization type game that's out there. But yeah,
I wonder why that's very specific.
yeah.
No, right on. Yeah, I enjoyed the app a lot. Never played it IRL. I
Okay.
think the app is great because I think because it does all the bookkeeping. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can kind of see like when I make this decision, it'll kind of show
You how much it's going to spend. Like, yeah, you have to keep feeding your people, and like depending on how happy they are, you like the more people you have, then you have to keep feeding them more. Obviously,
Right, right.
people, EB.
Gross.
Yeah.
All right.
Stop eating, people.
Yes.
My
You're
number
not hungry. You're just bored.
45 is a game that is new to me this year, and I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's fantastic. Bob just at Gen Con bought the upgraded deluxe edition, and I want to play it with the deluxe edition because it cures every single critique we had in the review, and that is A War of Whispers.
Yes.
Man, what an awesome concept for a
Yes.
game, because you are not vying really for territory control as much as you are vying for control of territories by manipulating everybody. Like, I don't know, man. It's just really cool how it
Yeah.
does it, because you play like a secret society that is manipulating these monarchs and where they move their troops. And it's like, well, I don't want them to win, but I need to invest a lot of influence in them to make sure that they lose, right? So I'm
Yeah.
spending a lot of actions over here to leave them in bad positions. But I need other people to also then not try to strengthen them up, or, you know, to capitalize on the openings that I have left, because you can't always, I could go over here and make them do a thing to clear out an area, and then I can try to go over here and move these guys but if you're trying to move these guys into this area, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're just fighting, the way you fight over stuff.
It's not. It's almost. It's an indirect combat almost.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It reminds me of like it's like a Benny Gesserit the game. Almost.
Yeah, it really. It's
Nice.
like, or if you wanted to throw it back to Game of Thrones, it's like if you were Game of Thrones, but you were playing like as Viserys, not Viserys,
That's one of their words. I
the bald guy.
Yeah.
probably pronounced
the-
Wow.
I know I've totally dropped.
eunuch.
Yeah, you're playing as Eunuch or maybe even as Tyrion as the hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're just
or
manipulating the
Baelish,
houses.
you know?
Yeah,
like
little finger.
just, You're just like all around the shadows.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is such a good game.
Yeah,
I really
I want to get the collector's edition to the table.
I was
and
very
look at it.
pleasantly surprised with how much I love that game. But yeah, War of Whispers, man, it's so good.
Everything about this game absolutely fascinates me. I didn't get to review it. I still haven't played it.
You
Fix
never
this.
will. Oh, okay.
Fix this.
Sorry.
I'm taking notes of the things we have to fix. So.
This is 54.
Oh, wow. Nice.
On my list, this is 54. Honestly, my big thing is it would be way higher if the cards were less repetitive. I
Oh,
don't
sure.
like that the cards
Okay.
are so repetitive.
Yeah, they are a little.
It's
They are a
there's like
little.
literally like 4 cards in the game.
Yeah. Okay, a lot.
And yeah, and that annoys me. But other than that, it is fantastic.
Yeah, really good. Really good game.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, that's you
Busy
now.
talking about your number.
That's you
I should
now.
get mine ready.
Let's see.
Okay, so this was funny. I'm not
Magnus
going to be able to
Brothers.
remember it now because my memory's so terrible. But my 45 is the exact opposite of Mike's 44 in every way possible. He was like light rule set and like I can't remember everything he said now, but remember that. So mine's
Yes.
the search for Planet X.
Oh,
Nice.
So I love deduction, and this game's like the feeling of deduction you get from like the type of deduction you're doing is just A+ material for me. I love this. Another app dependent game.
well, but a really well done, though.
Sure. I mean,
The
it's
app's-
literally just you're typing in the questions you want to ask and it's telling you the answer. Because
Yeah.
basically, at the beginning of the game, the app randomizes the setup, right? And you have a circular board. There's a rotating sunlight, kind of, right? Because of how, like, what you can see from
How
Earth's
planets work?
perspective.
Yeah.
And you are asking the app questions. You're saying, are there any meteors between 2 and 6? It's like gridded out, and you type that in the app, and the app tells you there are 2 meteors there. And so you have a board, and you're marking off the information you get. It kind of feels Sudoku-y to me. And then you're eliminating everything, and the first player to find Planet X not necessarily wins. They just get a bunch of points. Once someone finds Planet X, though, the end of the game kind of starts. And then at the end of the game, it's just whoever's the most points, depending on the things that you found and everything like that. And I love the look of this game. I desperately want the upgrades for it. I just haven't gotten them yet. But I love the look of this game, and I like deduction. This is one of the best feeling deduction games out there for me. I love this.
It's really good.
It is
It's
good.
really good.
Yep.
I haven't gotten to play that one yet.
We don't play with you, as they can tell.
Obviously.
No doubt.
That's
No
the
doubt.
goal.
No, I was thinking that too. Mike's like, I play this game a ton. I'm like, never played it.
Trust
a
me.
boatload, you say?
yeah.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I'm shocked you've never played it.
Yeah. I played other like.
I'm just messing with you
Oh.
because I know you don't like werewolf.
I don't know.
I made a note real quick. The first thing in my note was Star Warsiness.
Yep.
The second note I made was Sudoku-y. So I'll continue to
Right,
write
but-
down
The nomenclature.
made
But
up
does that
words.
game have any Swaziness to it?
yes.
I'm just trying to think of another version of it.
Okay.
Kick your house. Roadhouse.
All right. So this was actually the first film I ever recorded with Board Game Rundown. We
Crap.
came back from Julia Con.
Uh-huh.
And we filmed a Julia Con recap back in March, 8 months ago now. And then we also filmed a review of Dwellings of Eldervale.
Nice.
And this is my number 45. Dwellings of Eldervale looks like this big, epic territory control, battling huge monster miniatures. And that's not what it is. It's a worker placement game.
Not at all, yeah.
It is a worker placement tableau building game by Luke Laurie, and this is his thing, is building these worker placement games where you've got a reset mechanic. So you put your guys out into Eldervale, you use the territories, and then when you're done using your workers, you recall them. And you place them onto your tableau. So you're gradually building this tableau to make your recall engine more powerful.
And
The more cards you get, the better, cooler actions
I
you
think
get.
the recall engine is really where that game sings too, right? I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
really
the neat-
does. If you get the right tableau combos going,
Mm-hmm.
it feels really good. I like the combat in this game a lot. It's single highest die result. So it doesn't matter if I've got 2 workers that each roll 1 die each, and I've got a monster that rolls 5 dice. If I can roll a 6, I got a shot. And I love that. Like, that gives you that, like, I'm
got a
always in
chance.
this.
Yeah.
Plus, there's like, yes! Like, if you roll that 1-6 you need, and I love games that do that for me. Like, yeah, the improbable result actually just happened.
right.
This game does a good job of kind of limiting you a little bit. Like, you can't exactly do what you want to do. So that limitation works pretty well in this game. I don't always like to feel limited in games. I prefer more open-ended experiences, but I think this game does that very well. And I also like that you place your guy and you get to resolve the action. Then if somebody else is there, then there's a battle. So you still get to do the action. You don't lose out. Yeah. And the other thing, because I hear this complaint all the time, is you can win without winning combat. Like, there's many times I've been the highest person on the glory track and still got stomped. So last time we played it was at Caleb's, and Andrew actually ran away with the game, and he barely battled at all.
Sure.
But yeah, Dwellings of Eldervale, very unique game. Lots of replayability. I love how there's 16 different variable
Factions,
player powers to use in this game. Holy crap.
You know, I think if I had played that game more than just the one time we played, and I owned it, so I remembered to put it on my list, it would have made the list.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the only one in the group that owns that one. We should play
and
it
it's
more.
a hard one to,
It's hard.
to get your hands
I'd
on.
want to get the fancy copy, right, with the nice trays and everything in it. So
They
it's
keep
hard to
reprinting it. They
find.
keep underestimating how many times they're going to run out of it. Now they're on to like 3rd edition already.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be like, just buckle up. Know you're going to get it at a convention. That's probably going to be your best bet.
Yep.
Get it at a decent price, not
Yep.
pay through the nose for shipping,
Yep.
and get everything.
And
for
it
sure.
is, side note, it's in the like 200s of BGG ratings already.
Yeah,
like,
it's-
it's soaring up fast now that more people can get their hands on it.
Right.
I can't disagree with anything you said, but I have one major issue with the game, and that's I've never played it.
Okay. Fixed.
Jeez, Dan, that's barely an excuse.
Yeah. So, number 44. You guys might have heard of a guy named Wolfgang Warsch.
I don't think I have
Whoa.
any of his games on my list.
Yeah.
But I'm confused. You already listed his favorite game, didn't you? I mean, his best game.
It's pretty close.
Come on. Come on.
But the Quacks of Quedlinburg is a great game.
Oh,
And,
talk
like,
about this way later.
You know, I got the
Yep.
fancy bits for it, so it's fun to just like clank, 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 all the little bits in the bag. You can teach it to new people because they can understand the concept of you're just pushing your luck and trying to get as much stuff in your pot as you can before you draw the wrong colored ones and you explode your pot in your face. There's so many different variable powers with all the different ingredients. The Alchemist expansion adds a great little twist to it and more stuff you can do. It's just a great game.
That's
It
really
is a
good.
great game.
It's really good.
Yep.
I'll have more to say later.
I won't.
You know what, though? I got to give Dan some credit. During our overrated video, Dan made this gameplay example of Quacks, and he was so right, and I've been thinking about it ever since. He's like, Quacks is just, okay, I'm done. And it's like, that's the game. It's like, you know what? But there's so much fun to be had out of just doing
You
that.
missed
But
the
it
part
just
though.
stuck in-
If I'm explaining it though, you missed the part where it goes
white,
Oh,
white,
I exploded.
white.
yeah.
I've had that image stuck in my head of you just pulling chips and okay, that's the game, and I laugh, but I love the game.
I mean, he's also not wrong, but it's a
Yeah,
great
He's not
game.
wrong,
I love
but
it.
it's an amazing game.
My number 44, I don't know where this was when we did our top 30, but I'm going to guess it was really high. And this is a game that has fallen off a bit for me. I think it's just due to the lack of playing it. But I still love this game, and it definitely deserves a spot on my list, and that is Kemet.
Okay.
Kemet is a really...
Wow.
It is probably the first Egyptian themed game that I own. Not that there would be another one like way higher on my
No.
list, but
Yeah, no. Impossible.
and that might have also hurt it as well. Just being that there's some other territory control games that I think that are out now that do other different.
Like better
there's no-
things.
Yeah, I don't even
More
know
interesting.
That, I don't know that better is the right word, but it just different. And Kemet, again, like with the way that you build your temples and everything, and the way you can move your armies around, and the reasoning behind controlling different areas
And those tech trees.
the tech trees, baby. The tech trees are so good. That's for me like what really makes the game great is that rush for the tech trees
Very
and
much
stuff like
so.
that. But Kemet is still a great game. It will always hold a place in my heart. It's just that there's some that I would rather mess around with now. And but yeah, so 44 for me is Kemet.
It is a great game. It's just there's so much competition in the territory control genre. I mean, I got mine as a for trade game. Sadly, I just it's hard to
Get it to
put
the
that
table.
one over other territory.
Yeah,
control
and I traded
games.
my second edition, even though it has superior components, but I haven't played it yet, but the Stars of Ikarios or whatever. I traded
yeah,
my
yeah.
second edition, but I still have my first edition, and I'm never letting my first edition go.
Yeah.
Because I love
Except
that
maybe
game.
that rule book.
Oh yeah.
Just put the first
Get rid of that.
edition rule book in
The second edition box.
But
yeah.
my next one, I did mention something that I'll mention in a second. But first of all, a slight theme for my 10 here, Mike, because you've been begging us to say that. Quite a few of the games here I've barely played.
There you go. All right.
So it's actually the exact opposite of your
Yes.
theme. So my 44 is by Renegade Games, and I forgot something because Search Planet X was also Renegade Games.
Oh, yeah.
So I have 2 in a row right there. But that is a game that I cannot wait for us to play more of, and that's My Father's Work.
I'll be talking about this
Great
a lot
game.
later.
It made it into my top 50. I haven't played it enough for it to be that much higher. I've only played it like twice or something, right? But it's just a really good story-driven worker placement, engine build, just a combination of really good things. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for the game. But I've barely played it. As I was going through my list, though, I think it made it so high up because instead of what we normally do, which is like, I would rather play this over that in this situation. I can't wait to play that again. I can't wait to play that again, right?
Sure.
And that's kind of what bumped it up into the top 50, I think, probably.
Yeah, it's
Did Julia send you that?
Yeah, that's funny.
But anyway, My Father's Work, if you don't know it, it's a big campaign worker placement.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
With some
I
of
love
the
it.
best components you'll find.
That
is. It's
narrowly
true.
missed the cut for me, and it was for the same reason. I only played it that one time. I liked it, but I need more experiences with it.
I love it. That's awesome.
All right.
Okay, my number 44 is a game that
Oh, it's a game?
That's good.
I
That's
have
bold.
also played a buttload.
Ooh.
I have 48 plays of the most basic engine building game out there, and I don't care because I love Splendor.
Oh, yeah,
I like
Splendor's
Splendor.
great.
I just enjoy Splendor so much. I've got this one buddy of mine that, like, anytime I go over to his house, I'm adding Splendor to my bag. Now what else? He's going to want to play Splendor. There was one, we went on vacation one time. In a week, we played Splendor like 14 times in a week. It's just one of those games. I can't get enough of it. I still enjoy it. I like how it's this kind of blend of there's a long-term strategy, but somebody can take the card you want. And then the card that replaces it, you may not be ready to go for. So there's always this tactical element that comes in, and you're always adjusting your strategy as the game goes on. Like you're constantly changing what you're going for and what you're collecting. And I just think it's a really well done game.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Splendor quite a bit,
Not to bring the
but I don't.
I'll
mood
bring it
down
down.
a little bit.
I'll bring it
but
down.
like Sarah and I used to play this all the time, right? Because it was an app
Oh,
on
sure.
the phone, and we would go out
Yes.
to eat. We'd order our food. We could play a game of Splendor while we're waiting for our food to get there and play. And now that that's all over, now the app's not supported either. So coincidence?
isn't?
I think not. Yeah, no. I tried to load it back up. It says this app is no longer supported.
Yeah, I used to play the crap out of the app,
Yeah.
and then it's now not
So,
even a thing. Which
it's a
is
sad time.
Apparently,
too.
it's been that long since
well,
I
one
played
thing's
the
more
app.
sad than the other.
'Cause I used to play the mess out of that app. Like,
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
I played
exactly.
that
I have
probably
the expansions for it and everything
hundreds
on
of
there.
times.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, I played.
It's sad panda.
Wow.
Played that app a lot. Splendor's really good.
I'm
It is a really good
just
game.
now learning this, and I'm disappointed.
Breaking news. This just in. Splendor no longer working on the App Store.
I've only played Splendor like once or twice, and I was just bored out of my mind.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
It's simple, but it's
so
it's good, though.
simple.
It's
It's,
just-
like, but
It's enjoyable.
Just
it's
don't
like
care.
15 minutes.
Sure.
All right, so probably be some agreement on my number 43. But this is a game that takes two games I don't really care for and blends them together in a game that I really enjoy.
Oh, weird.
Between Two Castles of the Magic Ludwig.
Did
so
you
in
like
this,
my
So in
description?
this game, you're going to be playing. Yes.
Were you going to use that exact way to introduce it before I did mine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's literally how I describe it. So I
Yeah.
don't really care for. I mean, Castles is okay, but it's like you're right. It's it's that clunky, that whole market builder thing. And then Between Two Cities, meh, but this blend of the two is amazing.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's-
love it. Like I couldn't wait to
great.
get it. Insert's fantastic. Gameplay is good. We already said all this stuff.
It's like cinnamon, and then you take toast, and then you put it together, and you get the crunch.
Yeah, because if you eat just cinnamon, bleh, you eat toast, it's like this dry. You put it together, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. I played that song for my friend's wedding one time on a toaster with wooden spoons. It was
Nice.
great. Yeah.
And then he was asked to leave.
No, it was great. Me and the best man worked it out. So when he gave the speech to his thing, he was like, and so to Bruce and Kim, a toast. And I said, yeah, toast. And we did a whole couple of verses. It was
Nice.
awesome.
Totally not from Indiana.
Yeah.
So my number 43 is Haywood Banks. No, just kidding. No, my 43 is an engine builder of sorts, but an engine builder with a twist.
Okay. Okay.
This
Or a
game,
roll.
kind of like Splendor. I don't know how many times, but I played it a buttload, and I could play with family. I could play this with new players. Everything. Dice Forge.
Yeah.
Just Dice Forge came out, and I played it, and I'm like, this game's got to cost like $1 million because all these components.
Popping the faces off and putting new faces on your
and it comes with all these great things and really well produced, and the game's really cheap.
Yeah,
like, price point wise,
yeah.
for like what you get, it's like $30 or something. I mean, it's really cheap. And
Great
I
insert.
just
Well, it needed it.
really did. But I played the crap out of this game. I love this game still. Like anytime somebody wants to play it,
a
I'm
good
like,
one.
yeah, I'll play Dice Forge.
Yeah, for sure.
no problem. It's a great game. I absolutely love it.
It didn't quite make my top 50, but it was right up there.
It is just a home run of a game. Dice Forge.
I don't love it, and I don't know why. It's clearly a good game, and I don't know. I don't love it.
I've always felt, I've shared this opinion more than once, it's a little too short because right when you get that best die phase, you get to roll it once. I always add 2 rounds to that game when I play it because I think it needs it. Personally.
Oh, sure. But I also like that there's no downtime in,
Right. Yeah,
because
you're
you're
rolling
rolling your
everybody's
die during everybody's turn.
So it's always good when they
And
implement
you
those
just like,
simultaneous turns.
so you're gathering all these resources, like, and then it's your turn, and then you get to spend them all and do, and do extra stuff.
Really
And
fun
It's
game,
super
though.
fun.
I guess I should talk now, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Let's just go to Mike.
Yes.
So my number 43.
My number 43. Hi, I'm Dan, and
Stan.
I am obsessed with time travel. And so when I get told that there's a worker placement game where you can borrow stuff from the future, but you have to pay it back later because you're paying yourself in the past, that is just the coolest thing ever. And honestly, that's just one tiny mechanic that's in it. But it's so cool, and that is Anachrony by Mind Clash Games.
Great
This is
game.
another game that I think I've only played twice with
Same.
Bob. But it is a fantastic, I mean, again, if you're looking at production value, it's great. But then on top of that, it's a really good crunchy thing with the cool asymmetric power things that
Factions,
you have,
yep.
the factions. And then, like I said, that time travel thing. And then if you don't, you can cause paradoxes. And the
Yes.
paradoxes, what a cool concept.
And you haven't got to
man.
play with the Flux expansion, so
Yep.
now you can blink. So like as you power up your exosuits and you send them out to do things, you could use Flux to blink it to another location, so you get to do 2 actions with the same mech.
Now it's time and relative dimension in space.
Yes.
Nice.
You're going to get me and Bob gushing about this game in a few weeks. I can
Listen,
almost
no,
guarantee
this isn't
that.
on Bob's list.
It didn't make the list.
Yeah, right. But yeah.
poker
Wait a minute. Stay patient. It'll happen.
Yeah.
The thing that there's a lot of things I love about this game, but the thing that I like the most is if you explain the theme of, hey, there's a cataclysm that's about to happen in the future, and during that cataclysm, our people discovered this resource, and we can borrow that resource from ourselves in the future. If you explain that theme, the game makes more sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
And when you can explain the theme of a game and it helps you teach the rules, A+ anytime you can do that.
Still going to take you about 45 minutes to teach the rules.
Yes,
That helps.
but with that underlying pretext,
Sure.
like the game makes more sense.
Yeah.
And
It's just so cool. And like, 'cause there's all those super projects, so you can kind of try to plan ahead. But if you don't quite have the resources, you can go back in time and complete the super project, then come back. Yeah.
In time.
Yes. I was waiting for somebody to do it.
phenomenal.
Anachrony
game.
Such a great game.
Mind Clash.
Phenomenal.
Mind Clash
Mind
games.
Clash
Might be their best
games.
game.
Yeah, it might be.
So, my number 43 is a light little engine builder that I just don't think ever has gotten enough attention. This is Deus.
Never played.
Deus is a quick little hour-long engine building game where you're building a tableau. It has one of the coolest mechanisms in engine building games that I've seen, where you play that card, it stays on the table. you activate it. But if you play another card of the same category, it goes above that card. Then you activate your previous card first and every card in that column. So you get these awesome chain reaction combos that happen. And I'm all about combos. Like, I'm going to fulfill this card, and then that's going to give me resources. And then the next card, I can sell those resources for points. And then
I thought he was
my
gonna
next
say
one.
it's like pretzels with
I was
the
gonna say, yeah, I
cheese
kind of prefer the pizza cheddar combos.
Oh, Pizzeria Pretzel is my personal favorite. They now have Buffalo Wild Wing,
Here comes the
Buffalo
blue
Wing
cheese.
ones.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah. Anyway,
Pass.
so yeah, combos are pretty good.
Rather play Deus.
But yeah, Deus, very well done, older game that I just never thought got enough love. It might be in the 300 or 400, so it's gotten enough love. But just the fact that it's 8 years old is like, oh, let's not talk about that game anymore because that's the board game industry. What's
You're
new?
actually getting
We're
really
only
close to
talking
your
about
limit.
that. So
Yeah.
what?
You're getting really close to your limit of how much you can talk to
Okay.
about the game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Now you're gonna play
Deus,
time.
my number 43. I tell you, one of Dan's favorite reviewers talks about it all the time, and that is Mr.
Tim Averly.
No, the guy.
favorite.
Mr. Z Garcia talks about this game quite a bit. He rates it probably higher than I do.
Well,
Just
then,
saying.
Then maybe
Well,
get on his level.
Now you can't talk about it till January 1. You
Yep.
fulfilled the
That's
quota.
the
That's
yearly
right.
quota.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We'll play it before
Then
then.
next year you'll have even less time to talk about it because it'll be even older.
it.
Okay.
It gets smaller.
So my answer to the question,
What?
42.
Oh, gotcha.
Great. All
Tim.
right. It's been fun, guys.
So this is a game about, I like games about history type stuff. And this one's about the history of sailing. It's the Endeavor, the Age of Sail.
Oh.
And you have big, huge dual-layer player boards. You're exploring around in the new world and picking up resources. You can get all these kind of like cards with like trade deals and whatnot. You can choose to use slavery, but that's gonna be negative points in the future if you used it in the past. Like, there's just so much to this game that like I really enjoy. Like the trying to block people from getting onto the territories, or you can like build up your arsenal of like military and stuff on there to keep people from taking the territories from you. I love the dual layer player boards that they use on there. They're huge. I enjoy that game, and they have a new expansion coming out for it too.
For some reason, I hate the title. of this
Endeavor.
game. Because
Age of Sail.
this is when I played with you, right, Bob?
Yeah.
I have to ask that every time.
What's
I
this game
cannot
called?
remember
Remember the name?
I cannot remember that. Every time you say Endeavor, I'm just like, is that the one I played with you? Because that name slips my mind, and
Yeah.
I can't
Age
think
of
of why.
Sail.
It was good, but I just can't remember it for some reason at all.
Yeah. Play it again.
Yeah, idiot.
So my number 42, my answer to life, the universe, and everything is a thing about me is I'm a reader. I like games with good theme, and if it's based on a story that I like, even if that story is only like 2 or 3 pages long, it's got a really good theme, got a really neat mechanic, some fantastic art and components, and a game that nobody has talked about yet today. Mask of the Red Death
a good
is
one.
my number 42.
like, where's he going?
It's really good, guys. If you haven't heard us talk about it before,
Hey,
So
minutes ago.
yeah.
we're in the same tent.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting
Master of
that.
the Red Death is a fantastic game. Want to play it more. Only played it a handful of times, but it is it just stays with you.
Yeah.
And it's just really good. I'm really glad we had an opportunity.
It's just crazy because it is so simple, almost to the point of me saying basic.
It's almost, but really hard.
And yeah, it just sticks with me. I cannot forget about that experience.
And again, though, right, the decisions, it's kind of like Karuba. Like, it's pretty straightforward, but the decisions are so tough, especially when it gets to that programming part.
right.
Because it's literally life or death. It is like, well,
no, yeah, and it's just so slow. Like, you set up your program, you're just like, this is it. And then it just goes, okay, he's going there. Okay, next I'm going left.
yeah.
He's going there. Like, it's so intense, and
I love
I
it.
don't know why.
I love it. It's such a good game. I'm really glad that I wasn't the only one to have this on my list. I just think it's a great game.
My 42 is going to definitely be higher on other lists, I believe, which definitely and I believe probably shouldn't go in the same sentence together. But this is one of my CMON games, and this one is Rising Sun. I had a great experience with this game. It's not my favorite in the trilogy, but I had a really good experience with this game. I liked the components. I liked what you were doing in the game. I had a far better experience than Blood Rage, which is why Blood Rage has not appeared on this list. But overall, it's a good trilogy. And you know, 66.6% of them belong on my list. And this is one of them. Rising Sun's very famous. You guys probably know it. But yeah, it's like a feudal Japan area control.
It's beautiful too.
Yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. The components are
I haven't played it.
amazing.
You haven't played Rising Sun?
No, I sold my copy to Caleb before he even sold it.
Oh, that's
Before
when
I
I
even played
played
it. Yeah, that's when you
I
played
played
it.
both of them.
You played both of mine. I haven't yet.
The first time I ever met Caleb and Jesse, I met them at Jeremy's house before I met you guys. We played Rising Sun, and they're both very good at this game,
Yes.
very well versed at it. It was my second time playing, and I played one of the expansion Moon Clans, which
Oh,
are very hard
they're
to play.
tough.
And I'm playing 2 sharks, and I just got destroyed.
Boy, your
have a-
experience
yeah,
was
you have
So
record.
this is actually one of the reasons why this is the only game of the trilogy not in my top 50.
Well, it's a hilarious thing for you there, Mike. So Blood Rage is the one out of the trilogy that's not in my top 50, and that's because when I played with sharks.
Yeah.
And they,
maybe
and
the
they-
same two
like,
sharks.
You know what's funny is
wrecked me, and I didn't
Yeah.
even feel like I was taught how to play. They were just like, you kind of like do this anyway. Let's play, and we're gonna destroy you. And it, like,
No, it's
kinda felt
100
like
to 6.
that.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, and it kind of felt like that to me.
I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Gosh, I don't understand
it's
that way
funny,
of
though.
teaching people games.
It's funny though that means we can go into this CMON trilogy though saying have a good teacher, because obviously we've
That's the
both had
thing.
one of the 3
Yeah.
games kind of ruined for us because of that. Like,
Yeah, I still own it in the Kickstarter stuff. I won't get rid of it anytime soon. It was actually my number 1 for favorite components, so
Right.
it's on that list. I love the look of this game. I love all the games in the trilogies. I just want to play it more and have a good experience. I haven't yet.
Yeah, Rising Sun is one that it is not in my top 50, but it is probably my least played of the trilogy because
Same.
it is the
Yes.
most complex.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to play it with them because I want to play it and be able to learn it and be able to
fun
like
with it.
breathe a little bit in it.
Yeah.
Because when I have played it with them and gotten wrecked.
I got lucky because when I played it, I was playing with the Sharks, but Jesse and I teamed up.
Oh, sure.
And so I was on a team with one of the Sharks.
Yeah.
For,
So
for
you
a
were like
large
that.
percentage
You
of
were
the
like
game.
that
The cleaner
fish.
fish.
That fish
yeah,
that
yeah.
hangs on the side.
Yeah, I was a parasite for sure.
Well, no, that's not a parasite because you're not really hurting the host.
Oh, okay.
You're a symbiote.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
symbiotic parasite.
Yeah.
I was hurting. Let's be honest.
I want that game to go higher. I need a good experience
Yeah.
playing it, and I haven't had one.
Okay, so I feel like this is the group for that.
Yeah,
that game.
yeah,
Like,
the 3
we-
people
yeah,
that just
right?
wanna play
Yeah,
on
we
the
could all
ground.
play
exactly.
Rising Sun.
I've
My
never played
gosh.
it, so
We could all
that's
play
true.
Rising
It
I'm not
Sun.
gonna
has
run
so
amok
many
on you.
things I like in a game. Like you start the game by negotiating. You know,
That's
like
one of the reasons I think I got rid of it because I'm not huge on negotiating.
Yeah, but you can
Man.
also run without alliances and do
it's
pretty
not
well.
Correct.
it's there. You know,
It's
like
not integral, but it is an interesting cog
I
in the
think
machine.
Spencer went the whole game without an alliance, and he either won or came in second.
that would
Like,
be crazy
like-
to
Yeah.
see. It's doable though. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
My number 42 is the first of several bag builders on my list, and this is Reiner Stockhausen's Altiplano.
Oh yeah,
I actually enjoy this more than Orleans, and I think it's because I feel more open-ended when I play this game. So I've got I got my chips, and everybody gets different starter chips, so there's kind of different variable player powers. You get different starting resources and a slightly different ability than everybody else, and then you pull your chips, and then you program out your turn, and that's just so interesting to me because there's different locations that you go to. So you have to, okay, well, I've got these 2 goods and I can spend them on this island, but then I'll have to move, and then I can move to this island and spend these 2 resources. So let me program these into this island, these into this island, and I've got 1 movement I can make. Well, then you can buy additional carts. Then later in the game, you can have 2 or 3 movements. And then you've got, okay, I got to go here, spend that stuff, then move here, then use this stuff, then move here and do this stuff. And as the game evolves, the way you chain and program your actions begins to evolve and become more complicated as you go. And I really enjoy Altiplano and what it accomplishes for a bag building game. Like it's got a lot of depth for a bag building game. There's several of them that, you know, well, I know Quacks was kind of the one that sort of one of the games that put it on the map. And there's just not a lot of depth to Quacks, even though I love it. Altiplano has good depth. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Orleans, in my opinion, is a million times better than Altiplano, but only because I haven't played Altiplano.
Oh, that's very similar to my excuse.
That's what I was gonna say too.
I'm working on a trade to acquire Orleans so I can
I
play
love
it again.
Orleans, though.
But
yeah.
I have played both, and I actually like Altiplano better. I like how you can cull your beginning chips out of your bag, and you've got this like storage warehouse, and the more stuff you put in it, the more points you gain. So you're not just losing your starting chips, you're using them as a point engine as well. Yeah, and later in the game, you can even increase how much stuff you pull. Very, very good bag building.
Yeah,
game.
sounds cool.
All right.
The last game of the day,
Last
Bob.
game of the day.
It better be a good one. It better.
So this one is one of the newer ones on my list. I just got this game at Gen Con. It was recommended to me back at Origins by your sister.
I think I know what it is.
And while we were working the booth in Gen Con, it was literally next door. It kept selling out day after day.
Yes.
So finally on Saturday, I believe it was like, I'm going next door to buy this before we open.
Hatchet Games.
Yes, Acropolis. It's a great little like tile laying game where you're trying to get the different colors of marked tiles. Yeah, yeah. But they each have their own different conditions, right? Like blue ones want to be next to each other, the other ones want to be singled out, purple ones want to be surrounded. All these different conditions. But then there's also these like stars that you get, and so those stars are going to be multipliers. And so the more stars you get, you know, the higher points you're going to get for what you have on the board, and it's fun. It takes like 20, 30 minutes. It's simple to teach, and it's got a great strategy. You can like start to build upwards too, and the higher you build them, the more points they're worth. There's alternate rulings on the back where you can like it's double points if it's 10 or more, or it's they want to be next to other things, and so it just adds like different variants that you can add on to make the game a little more complicated. But yeah, it's just a great, and it's so cheap. It's like less than $40 to buy the game. I think it was like $27 or $37.
Oh yeah, it was
out
cheap.
on the shelf.
Really good,
Super
really
cheap.
good price point.
Yeah.
It was a hot game at Origins,
Yes.
and it was a hot game at Gen Con.
Insanely cheap.
Yeah.
I don't love the game. I think it's a good game. I don't love it, but I need to buy it because it's like the most affordable game ever for what you're
And
getting.
you could get it played 100 times.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Oh, the
good.
cost to play was
It's
25
insane.
cents. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's after 3 plays.
Yeah, 4 people, 3 plays.
Well,
That's a lot of.
But I mean, that's kind of how I felt about Dice Forge too, right? Easy to play. You could get people to play it a lot. You know, easy to teach. Doesn't take like too long to play. Probably doesn't take long enough if you ask Mike.
Right.
But really good experience.
Yeah, yeah.
So sure, I mean, a lot of those things can
It's a
contribute.
solid little game.
No, it's a bit. I mean, it's just like several of the games I've put on this first 10 is anytime, anywhere kind of games. I can teach it to anybody. I can play it with anybody. And it's one of those games. So, yeah, good pick. It didn't make my top 50, but I enjoy it quite a bit.
My 41 is a game that is a bit of a lark for me. I love this game. It is so much fun. It's kind of dumb, I'll admit. It's not
It
heavy
is
salmon.
your
I was
list.
gonna say it doesn't involve fish.
It does. It involves
geez.
dexterity.
Oh.
There's quite a bit of setup to this game, but man, is it
Oh.
fun! And it now, I have the original version, which is now basically they didn't have the copyright to, so you have to buy Terror in Meeple City if you want it now. But I own Rampage.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
But Terror in Meeple City, if you see it, I'm going to call it Rampage, but Terror in Meeple City, if you're looking it up, that's what it is basically you're using these meeples, you build up all these buildings, right, and everything, and then everybody's got their own dragon, lizard, kaiju thing.
Right.
And he's represented by not only like a stand-up wooden piece, but a flicking wooden disc. And then you are trying to move, you're banging into buildings, you're dropping
Knocking
your
them
guy on
over.
buildings, you're knocking guys over. So then when the meeples fall down, you get to eat them up, and then you can also hit the other players and you knock out their teeth. So that's less meeples that they can eat. And there's like a set collection aspect to this too, right? Because it's like, well, I need a red, a blue, a yellow, a green, so you're trying to get like as many different kinds of meeples as you can. It's really dumb fun, but man, I have a good time playing it. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
It's a bit to set up when you're setting up the buildings and whatnot.
Yeah, it is a
but
bit to set up.
You need to destroy it. So it's
But then
kinda-
you get to destroy it, and also the table presence too, right? If you're playing it like at a convention or,
Yeah.
or a gathering, and people are like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, just wait."
Just wait till we knock that building over.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, Terror of Meeple City or Rampage, because
have
I
the old school
specifically went
version.
out and got Rampage because
Yeah.
it's like I want the old one.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, really
Copyrights.
fun,
Hipster.
goofy, really goofy game. I know it's like a hipster douche. I don't have the hair for that buzz cut that dude had though.
Where's the body wash?
Andrew doesn't have a buzz cut.
Oh dang!
Hope you're watching. That sounds fantastic. I haven't played it.
It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
It's better than Altiplano, only because I've played it.
That checks out. It is an infinite amount better.
Yeah.
than Altiplano.
Yeah, you've enjoyed every play of that way more than every play.
Yeah,
of that.
exactly. By a million times. That's really weird.
Well, many times 0.
So,
Uh-oh.
so my 41, no one else at the table has played, and I know that because I've talked about it a bunch in the past. This is a Plaid Hat game, and this is why I was disappointed with Sleeping Gods when we played it. You know, Sleeping Gods is so beloved, and I played it, and I was like, Forgotten Waters did it better.
Oh, sure.
I love Forgotten Waters.
Right up behind
It is
you.
just another one like Sleeping Gods, if you know it. It's like a story-driven cooperative game where you're flipping through a ring binder. The thing that I really like the way the worker placement feels in Forgotten Waters. That's one thing. And then just like the way you level up is you have a constellation assigned to your character, and as you're completing skills, you're filling out the constellation. When your constellation's full, your character has completed their life goal and like retires and stuff. And it's just like a really good game.
That sounds really cool.
I like it a lot. It's pirate themed.
Oh, Bob doesn't like pirate.
And each player too, this is something I love in games. Each player has something they control. It's not like it's asymmetric, like only Bob can do it. But we've talked about a game in the past that does this too, and I can't think of it right now. But basically, we are on a ship, right? And it's like, okay, Bob, you're the bosun, and you're in charge of this. You have the cannons. You're the ones that make sure we
Like
know how many
XCOM
shots
kind of
we have.
assigns
Yeah,
a
where you
job
kind
to
of just
you.
split everything up. But really, we're all in control of all of it. It's just to make it easier.
Delegate.
You're delegating the tasks. Yeah. But it really does feel like everyone has their own thing they're focusing on and controlling and stuff, right? The captain will control the morale and initiative track and stuff like that, right? Like it does so many things right. And I've only played it a couple times, but it blew my mind how good it was when I played it. And any game similar I've played since just hasn't lived up to it.
Now, I know these are two totally different games. I haven't played either of them. I feel like they came out close to the same time. And the names are not similar, but I get them mixed up all the time. Anyways, Merchant's Cove and Forgotten Waters.
Right.
Like I feel
Totally
like
different.
totally different. But they like blue, like seem like blue cover,
Well,
like with some yellow.
Forgotten Waters is like you're looking down.
It's right
into
behind you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're looking
Yeah.
down into like a hurricane, and yeah, everything's getting.
Yeah, I don't know why.
sucked
In my,
in.
my brain wants to mix these games up. I have not played either, full disclosure. I know they're completely different
Yeah,
because I
sure.
know Forgotten Waters is much more of like the Tales of Arabian Nights kind of.
Oh
right?
yeah, sure. Again, it's like Sleeping Gods, but
Sure.
like it's story driven.
But
like
yeah,
that,
go
where Merchant's
to
Cove is
go.
just
If you go here, go to the page X and
exactly.
read the
you know,
encounter,
the
make some
binder you
choices.
go through. Well, it's not so much re-encounter. First of all, it's an app with fully voice cast.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Fully
again.
voice cast stuff,
Just like
and
Merchant's Cove.
They read to you. And
Just
like, wait, what?
Just kidding.
that was really well voice acted from what I've seen. I haven't seen too much of it and everything, right? And then the turning to the page, like I said, is mainly worker placement.
Okay.
You turn to a page and you're in, you're on this certain island, you're at a shop, and then there's all the different worker placement things, and you can go to your places and get the supplies you need and stuff. But some things will tell you, hey, at least one person has to go to this spot because this is the story progression thing. So you guys figure out how you're going to delegate who gets to do what for this, because whoever goes to that spot doesn't get to do other things. Like, some of the worker placement spots are like, I'm going to go here and I'm talking to the guy running the bar and trying to get more supplies for our ship. So you do like a skill test, right? And like kind of thing. And if I succeed, not only do we get more supplies for our ship, but I level up that skill, right? And that's how you level up your skills, doing these things. So whoever goes to the quest mission doesn't get to level up maybe this round and stuff. And obviously every encounter is different, but that's like one example of how that can play out. I just loved it. The way you design your character at the beginning is like a freaking Mad Lib, where you're like you're writing your story, filling out Mad Libs, and that tells you your character's backstory, and then it will create relationships between the characters based on the Mad Lib that happened and stuff as well. Like, oh well, that person's your ex-partner, and that kind of thing. Sometimes, it's fantastic.
Sounds really
I need
neat.
to play it more.
Sounds really neat. Sounds really good.
I've been interested in this one for a while.
You just sold me on it. Like I want to play it now. Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, number 41.
Last
this
one of the
is-
day. Better be good.
Yep. Real quick, since the video's almost over, Bob and I are both wearing Purdue gear.
I know I was going to say that too. Yeah.
So dumb.
Well, they're up.
Oh, they beat Illinois yesterday.
Number
Congratulations.
41 is also mine and Tim's favorite number, and that is because the Colts beat the Bears in Super Bowl 41. So therefore, I have a lifetime of trash talk that I get to deal towards him anytime this number's brought up.
Can you
So
hand me that knife?
My number 41 is an
Well
out-of-print game, and had I owned it and been able to play it more, it would go higher up. I start my 50 with a shout-out to my former Warsaw group. I will end with 41, another shout-out to that same group. This game is Container. This game came out in like 2008 and quickly went out of print. And then they did a 20th or a 10th anniversary edition jumbo container.
Yeah, the
It's got
jumbo.
these gigantic ships that just look so cool. And that's now out of print. And I'm just not one that wants to overpay for this game on the third-party market. But that's the only way you're going to be able to get Container. But it is a very good economic game of producing shipping containers, and then you can set the price on them. Well, somebody else might be producing the same color containers that you have, but they set their price a little bit lower. So people are going to buy from them. But then he's out of containers, so you raise your price back up. And there's this interesting, you have to pay attention what other players are doing, because people are buying your resources, others are storing them, and then you're moving your ship to the middle island, and everybody's going to auction for their ship full of containers. And everybody's got different scoring goals. I may score the most on the black containers. Tim may score the most on the red containers. Dan may scoring the most on the blue containers. So you're buying these different colors, and whoever wins the auction gets to put them on the island and score on those containers. And it is just a very, very good, well done economic game that has a lot of interaction. You have to pay attention to what other players are doing, and I love auction games as well.
That is a game that has been on my radar for a long time, but it is the accessibility is the issue. And just because like everything you've just described sounds super fun. Would love to try
like
it out.
Smartphone-y.
A little bit, yeah, a little
Yeah, a
smartphone-y.
little bit setting your price, and
You know,
except other people are buying the stuff from you, and like that's how much money they're going to give you. If I have my price too high, they may not buy from me.
Right.
I can undercut somebody else's price. Man, it's so good. It's just you can't get it. That's just man. This would be my number one for if we had games we wanted reprinted. Like this is it.
That's
Like,
it, yeah.
This game is so good. So
I've only-
shout out to Warsaw Group for showing me that game. I still love that.
well,
one.
here's what you need to. Let me just tell you what's going to happen. If you want that game to get a reprint tomorrow, what you do is you talk Bob into buying.
Yes, it'll
Go
happen.
buy all the deluxe.
Yeah, go buy the deluxe version.
stuff.
Next year, reprint.
Newly announced 13th anniversary edition.
That's happened at least twice.
Twice, yeah.
At least twice.
I've only ever heard you talk about this game.
I know.
I never heard of it.
It's like there
I've
just
heard
aren't a
of it,
lot of
yeah.
people that know about this game. It's kind of a niche game, but man, is
I wonder if
it
Pat and
good.
Julia have this game. I feel like this is
Maybe.
one they would have in their collection. But.
Ooh, I'll buy it.
Anyways, yeah, good to hear more about it. Like I said, this game has been on my radar for a long time, but you just can't find it anywhere.
I still snuck it onto this list, even though it's been 3 years since I've played it, because it's just so good.
I get it. I get it. There's going to be a lot of games like that as we go on. So, guys, why don't we go through and recap our 10s really fast before we wrap up? So, Bob,
Yeah.
go just 50 through 41.
All right, so Blood Rage, Taverns of Tiefenthal, Ra, Star Wars Imperial Assault, Scythe, Through the Ages, A New Story of Civilization, The Quacks of Quedlinburg, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Endeavor, Age of Sail, and Acropolis.
Nice. That's a good list for the most part. I've got Ready, Set, Bet, Letters from Whitechapel, The Downfall of Pompeii, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Smartphone Inc., A War of Whispers, Kemet, Dice Forge, Mask of the Red Death, and Rampage, a.k.a. Terror in Meeple City.
I
You thumbs
had
down one in there. That should not have been thumbs down there, sir.
No,
Downfall of Pompeii. You don't like Downfall of Pompeii?
He doesn't
talk
like
about
it.
this during the.
I wasn't listening.
This is a downfall of Bob's memory.
Dan's is Potion Explosion, XCOM the board game, Champions of Midgard, A Game of Thrones the board game, Mask of the Red Death, The Search for Planet X, My Father's Work, Anachrony, Rising Sun, and Forgotten Waters.
Some pretty good ones in there.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, my quick run through: One Night Ultimate Werewolf, Cosmic Encounter, The Crew, Quest for Planet 9, Horrified, Karuba, Dwellings of Eldervale, Splendor, Deus, Altiplano, and Container.
Yeah, put like
I've
two
heard of a
those.
couple of those.
Yeah, I put like two of those games.
What's really interesting, though, is that, like, I feel like I had no crossover, right? We've had a little bit of crossover, but I'm really curious to see if anybody hits the same number.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
the same game.
Yeah.
because
I have one game that's the same number of my own list last time. That felt good.
ooh,
Like, I was right on that one.
Yeah, still right.
It's right where it goes.
I might have a little
I'm
bit
about to
of
go
that.
through and like look at those.
Yeah, I kept meaning to, but I kept spending all of my time on
Redoing it, yeah.
redoing it over and over. So, guys, this has been a ton of fun. This has been really hard for me because of the games. Like we've talked a lot about this. The games that are just not making the cut, right? Like barely. That for me. That's like the hard thing is like
That was the
leaving
hardest
some
part.
great games out. But every one of these games that we're all going to talk about, over the next few weeks, we all just absolutely love, like 100%. These are all amazing games.
Yeah.
And I feel like a proud papa that now Dan is able to go with a top 50.
Top 50.
Maybe in a couple years we can do top 100.
Baby steps, Dan.
But no, I mean, we went from, you had maybe limited experience, but the passion was there, right? The interest was there. And now, we have all, even just as a group, Mike's even new to the group in the last year, and we've all just played a ton of new games, and like new to each other, brand new.
Broaden our horizons.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's just how much we've grown and evolved as gamers in the hobby. It's fun to see.
Mike's directly responsible for some of the games on my list.
Ugh.
Nice.
You're welcome.
I would say
I know one of them's very high up.
What's
too.
funny is Dan's directly responsible for one of the games on my list and he doesn't even like it, and that was Smartphone.
I want to say to you guys, what is your favorite game from each of our lists today? So out of Bob's 10, Tim's 10, so 4 favorites. What is your favorite from each list?
And why is mine your favorite?
No.
Well, it's because you
He's
haven't
giving-
ranked too low.
yeah.
If
No,
you
there's
were to
nothing
have
wrong
it-
with my rating?
Yeah.
No, Bob, they're giving 4 favorites. So they're giving
Right,
their
but
favorite
if
from your
but if Bob's
Right,
favorite,
but of the 4 favorites,
Oh, you want them
why
to
was
do
mine your favorite?
Oh, wow. That is too complicated.
it's more just got to be about Bob. But it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like, Bob, you rated that game way too low because clearly that's like a great game that should be ranked
But
higher.
there's so many other great games. to be ranked higher. We'll see.
At least 40.
We got another 10 to do. Let's wrap this up.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching.
2K!
And for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
It's Bob.
How's Mike?
Damn.
He yells a lot. We'll see you next time.